What's going on? It's your boy SB. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's Thursday, so you already know what it do. Whoo! We up in here. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? My toe hurt. Why my toe hurt right now? What's good? That's a funny way to start the line. My toe hurt. What's good, man? Hope everybody had a blessed week. It's Thursday, so you know what it is. It's live. It's live night. You feel me? It's live night. That's what it is. Who's this? Sticker Man, what's good with you, fam? It's your boy Rick the Spider from GRR1. Waiting lots to talk about with Amazon from this past week, plus new safety policy in play, which will affect the 1% of Amazon. Fam, I'm not hip to what is to know new updates. Fill me in. Fill me in, fam, because I'm not tracking. Let me do a quick Google search. See if there's any Amazon news. Was there layoffs? What was going on? I see police presence at an Amazon fulfillment center. That was 3 hours ago. Amazon alerts customers about impersonation scams. That was 12 hours ago. Okay. Yeah. Be aware of the impersonation scams. Bloomberg, they have a press release. Amazon gave Prime Day shoppers more time to browse. That was 11 hours ago. Okay. So, yeah, there was a shooting outside of an Amazon facility. That was 14 minutes ago. It's another one talking about that 28 minutes ago. Amazon just issued a serious warning to all customers 1 day ago. But I'm not really seeing what am I missing though? Is it like I know it wasn't no layoffs, was it? Amazon hiring for 40 million. Nah, that's not it. I don't know. Fill me in. What we missing? But yeah, I didn't really hear any new updates on my end. But that don't mean ain't no new updates. I just I don't be locked in on what what I mean, what Amazon's doing like that at the moment, just because, no reason. I just don't really be locked in like that. But if I'm missing something, fill me in. If anybody knows what the new updates are or anything, let me know. I'm not aware of any new, what I mean, like work Amazon warehouse type update, nothing like that. No new rules or nothing. I haven't heard about nothing on my end. We just low key this last week was like one of I guess what the first week after Prime, so we was pretty much chill. You feel me? We was pretty much chilling. Um, in my department, they ready to roll some new, what's else called work, some new task out. Gotta love it. But other than that, I can't. And for me, Prime wasn't too crazy. You know, what I mean, it was active, but it wasn't active how it usually is. Oh yeah, I was supposed to do a vlog about that. I think. Been a busy week. It's been a busy week for your boy SB, which is good. You know what I mean? It's been a productive busyness. Um, check, 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 check. All right. All right. So shout out to Sticker Man in the building. Shout out to who else we got in the building? Enzo, what up? Said what up, SB? RIP to Hulk Hogan. Man. Yeah, I heard he passed, man. That's deep. Shout out to you though, Enzo. Shout out to Enzo. I wasn't really a fan of Hulk Hogan. You know, I was before the whole, what I mean, all the racist stuff came out. Not a fan. You know what I mean? Still sad to hear, you know what I mean? But I'm never the one to I try my best never to return evil for evil. But um yeah, not a fan of dude, but it's still sad that, you know what I mean, he lost his life. Hopefully he didn't lose his life with that hate in his heart. You know what I mean? That would be that would be pretty sad. But shout out to Enzo. The mysterious mask. What's up, man? I ain't never seen you before, but shout out to you. Shout out to you. I wonder if I could zoom in on that picture. Can I zoom in? I can zoom in. All right, that's what's up. Dope mask. You feel me? Shout out to the mask in the building. Enzo says, I guess people think you are on top of Amazon because you work there. No, I get it. I get why people think that because I do. You know what I mean? Like I low key was. I was the only person. I love saying that. I was the only person on the internet to say Amazon was gonna have layoffs before they had layoffs. Nobody said it before me. and I was tracking, you know what I mean? I was looking at things, but sometimes when you look, you find. Seeking you shall find, you feel me? I don't like, you know what I mean? So, and I just don't want to talk about every, you know what I mean? We're in a different climate when it comes to this work in this country in general as a country, and then in the work industry, it's a new climate. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. you know, I want to low key not be the revealer and give thoughts on the company during these times. Even though I kept it balanced, the good, the bad, the ugly, I always kept it balanced for sure. But and then too, my focus has shifted. You know what I mean? My focus has not been Amazon content, but when it was, then I would search and what I mean, all that good stuff. So it makes sense. Yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? We came with some revelations over here, you know what I mean? And but like I said, I was on top of it, but not really as much, you know what I mean? But I get it. I get why they asked though. Says it'd be like, man, SB be glued in total the computer screen and see any Amazon news. Hey, I used to, and here's the thing too. Not only I would check for press releases, but we have a lot of Amazon employees who follow this page, fam. I mean, not just tier ones. There's some people that's up there. My email is in somewhere on my page. I forgot, it's somewhere on my page. If you look, I think in the about me somewhere. But people email me. I mean, I've had people in some positions email me about stuff going on in buildings, and I've had to be like, I don't touch on certain things. It's too, and you know what I mean? I just don't, because privacy of the company, like so I do got information for sure. You know what I mean? And for certain buildings, this person up here hit me up in this building. Man, this don't look right. This has been going. It's like, fam, I feel you. I feel you, brother. I feel you. But I can't put you. I mean, I can't. What we gonna do? You feel me? You want me to hit the news up? I think they do. Yeah, hit CNBC. Oh, but I'd be having some information. I'll be having some. Hey, and then the first buildings that closed, I knew about it before it was announced. Before it was a press release on buildings being closed in Amazon, I knew about it. How did I know about it? People on the ground, you guys, my followers, my supporters, hit me up. Emails, comments like, hey, my building closed over here. You know what I mean? So, but I know the system, the job can think that, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I know this page is watched. So that's why I kind of pulled back, because listen, I'm not a threat. You know what I mean? And that could be a threat when you have intel like that, man. You know what I mean? It's just, but yeah. You're the Superman of Amazon. Negative. No, negative. Shout out to the Zon, but nah, man. I'm just an employee, fam. I'm just an employee. That's it. I go in, do my work, clock out, and go home. And then vlog about it, my experience every now and then. But nah, I don't want to. Hey, but it's dope though. The flip side of that, right? I remember when I went on the away team, and I've said that I think on the vlog that I did explaining the away team. There was somebody in the group, because in the away team you do group meetings every day. There was somebody who was on the other side of the room just staring at me the whole time, bruh. I'm Black American. You can't be doing that. You know what I mean? I was raised in the jungle. You can't be just staring at me and not saying nothing. But he was just staring the whole time, right? And I'm a new guy. You feel me? I'm a new guy. I'm a good guy now. You know what I mean? It's like, I try to just keep it over there. You know what I mean? I try to stay in my motivated mindset. But then the meeting's over. So I'm still doing my stuff on my laptop. He walks by. I don't even look. I just look at my laptop, but I can see my peripheral game is 100. You know what I mean? But I see. I'm not looking, but I see. Walks by. Head is looking right at me the whole time. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm trying to walk this walk. Why you testing me? He comes back and does it again. This time, sit back. I said, Lord, I've tried enough. My cup overfloweth. I can't hold it no more. So I just sit back and just look at him. He's like, hey, man, you do YouTube? And then I was like, oh. But I still kept a straight face. I was like, YouTube? I always do that. People like, YouTube? He's like, yeah, you're SB, right? SB? He was like, oh, I was like, no, I'm just playing. I do that all the time, but it was cool though because then we start chopping up. He's like, man, dude, inspire me, da. So it's dope because that even happens in my workplace that I work at now. I'll be in the weirdest of places. I'm in the bathroom washing my hands with headphones on, washing my hands. Somebody just look and they look, hey man, USB. It's like, man, I have headphones on. Like, but it'd be low because sometimes I do it on purpose. I used to have my AirPods and then leaving on I forgot the mode what it's called because I don't use them no more. AirPods are I don't want to say they're trash, but kind of. Anyways, the part where you can hear outside and it's clear as day. Why am I sweating already? I would just walk around with my AirPods on, with nothing playing, but just still listening. Because you'd be surprised how many people try to say some slick stuff just because you got earphones in. Anyways, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, what up, USB? So I understand why. Most of the content that's really moved, it is Amazon content, just for just being real. Shout out to the time, man. Amazon's a dope spot. It could be a dope spot if you get in a dope spot. That makes sense. Sticker Man says, but you, my boy SB, I'm involved tonight. That's what up. That's what up. Good to see you in the building, fam. Glad you're here. Everybody who's tuned in, if you ain't that like button, hit that like button real quick. Let me tone down this light. It's a little bright. Let me see. I need my melanin to show. 94. They got me looking a little too light skinned out on here. Shout out to my light skinned people though. All right, there we go. All right. I'm resigning from Amazon Amnesty after 10 months because they're making us wear hard hats on the AF floor, which is extreme. That does sound extreme. I've never seen that. Hard hats. It makes sense. It makes sense because some of the them pods is pretty big, and somebody's stowers. Sometimes they'd be doing the wildest things, putting something heavy on the top. And like here's the thing. I guarantee there's a reason why something happened, in my opinion, if not correct me, but I'm pretty sure something happened for them to now say, all right, we need to wear hard hats because something probably fell on somebody's head. They probably sued them or tried to sue them. And they said, okay, well, we got to cover ourselves now. Because why now? Why would they do that now? My whole time in Amazon, I ain't never seen nobody go on the AR floor with hard hats. You feel me? Even with the steel toe boots. Didn't something happen to somebody's feet and then they rolled the steel toe boots? Because it wasn't like that. We was wearing shoes all the time. I had Vans on in there. Don't do that. Well, you can't no more, but I learned the hard way. I did that. It took one day. My lower back was hurting by the end of the day. But we all wear our regular shoes, whatever you wanted. Now you have to wear steel toe, but I think there was a reason why though. So I'm sure there had to be a reason why. Like even I think you guys got to wear hard hats in the trailer too, if I'm not mistaken, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody said that at one of these warehouses they had to wear a hard hat while loading trailers. Correct me if I'm wrong though. I don't know if that's a rolled out in the system thing. Don't know, but the reason supposedly is I guess a box fell down on somebody's head. That happened to me when I was loading up trailers in inbound. I remember one time put one up there. It was sturdy. It was in everything was cool, but somehow I turned around, another one fell. Right when I turned back, bow, rocked me. I didn't go, it didn't like injure me, but it hurt. You feel me? I'm a big dude, 6'3", 225 pounds. So, I took it to the chin. I brushed it off. Let's go. But imagine a 5'5", somebody, a female or so, that can injure somebody. So I think they were kind of lax on certain things. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Is it extreme though? I think that is kind of extreme, but it's a company. You know what I mean? So they have things that they have to cover themselves on. So I get it. It sucks, but I mean, it's just a hard hat. I mean, look on the bright side. You ain't got to do your hair every day now. Maybe I'm just too optimistic. I'm always looking for the good side. I'd be like, well, I ain't got to do 10 minutes doing my hair every day for sure. Bet. Let's run it. Shout out to you though, Sticker Man. Daniel says tracking Amazon terminology. Laugh out loud. Enzo says I'm waiting for the matchup featuring SB as an Amazon delivery driver and a German Shepherd streaming live on YouTube. Now we ain't gonna see that. Be like the guy. I'm Tyrone. Guys, that's funny. That's hilarious. Sticky Man says, I talked to senior learning and they said it's fine, but because 10 people got headed. See, I didn't even know that, but I didn't even know that, but I knew that. I didn't even know, but it makes sense. You know, like I said with the shoes, something had to happen, and I heard something happen to somebody's foot, and then all of a sudden, everybody in the system now we have to have steel toes. I'm not representing the company. I'm not a spokesman of the company. What else I got to say? These are just my views, my opinions, my experience. But then that's when they rolled that out, and I'm sure there'll be something else that happens, and then okay, everybody has to wear gloves at all times. Okay, something else happens. All right, all women have to have their hair in a bun or whatever, where it's not, like that's kind of just how things evolve, So, but okay, my bad, I didn't finish reading. You're learning. Okay, people got head injuries over 2 years, and they are going forward with head protection. That makes sense. That makes sense. Sucks. What froze? Okay. All right. At least we plugged in. All right. Sticker man, I have too much info on the company as a tier one. I'm quiet right now, right? Too scary to tell people or associates facts. Yeah, when you work, yeah, man, me too. I didn't seen some stuff that I will not put in a video as long as I'm working there. Will I talk about it afterwards? I don't know. Maybe not. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing: the things that I've seen that was like, yo, that's foul. It's the people. It's the people, you know what I mean? It's their evil selves. It's not like a company policy. They're actually breaking company policy. But you know what I mean? And it's like that wouldn't even I can't blame the company on this one person and their evil self. You know what I mean? That I seen them do. Um, so but as you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel you though. The longer you work there, especially if you tapped in and plugged in, people tell you everything. I used to hear all type of stories from the people up here above me, people below me, people on the same level. They would just come and just spill all the beans. I mean all of it. Like, bro, what I'm supposed to do with this? I'm trying to get these reactives out. I got 30 minutes on these reactives, and you telling me the story now. I don't want to leave now, and I gotta go get these reactives. Oh man. Cause and I'll be like, yo, it's yeah. I feel you on that. Yeah, man. Imagine if I had a live, right? And I invited 10 of you guys, with the craziest stories in Amazon story night. Man, yeah, that thing will go viral. But we not gonna do that. But that would be hilarious though. Because there's stories. I'm telling you, Amazon, if Amazon Prime dropped if they released a season of Amazon Warehouse Reality TV, it would go number one. I'm telling you, Uncle Jeff hit me up. Let me be the producer. Actually, no, I don't want to be a part of that because it's gonna be drama. You feel it's gonna be terrible. So I don't want to be a part of it. Am I gonna watch it? Yes. Is it? I'm gonna watch it, but I don't want to be a part of it because it's gonna be some drama, and it would be number one. You know what I mean? The stories. My goodness. All right. Shout out to Sticky Man. Hey, I see Lambo in the building. What up, Icy? What up, though? What up, Icy? Good to see Icy Lambo. Icy Lambo always in the building. Shout out to Icy. Sticker Man said, I've learned so much with former AMs and PAs. We're real people, and I love my friends, not Amazon. I feel that. I feel that, fam. I feel you. I feel you. Happy Thursday. How's everybody's week so far? My week is blessed, man. I had a blessed week. It was real good. Wasn't stressful. You feel me? Wasn't too much. Wasn't too little. Busy. Very productive, though. I had a very productive week. I hope everybody out there had a very productive week. And if you didn't, man, this the time for production. We need productive weeks going forward because we in new times. I've been telling y'all that. Have I not told y'all the last 2 years it's gonna be terrible out here. It's gonna be terrible. And then for the last year, I'm saying, yo, we ain't seen the worst yet. And we still ain't seen it. With all these layoffs, all this, we still ain't seen what's really coming. And it's already terrible. It's already bad. So, with that being said, we got to be productive, man. Listen, work that overtime if you're able to do it. Don't burn yourself out. Try to create something. to monetize. And it's sad because that's not a good way to live. It's not the way to live, but just be productive. Be productive. Enzo says you could have been the next Black Adams with Amazon on the away team. That would actually be a funny skit. I have no clue what the Black Adams are. What is that? I don't know what that is. But no, I could be way bigger right now if that was my goal to use Amazon for clout. I know how to do that, but that's one of the reasons why I kept stopping. Like my TikTok, man, one video got 900 and almost a million views, and I stopped. I stopped posting and killed the traction because, you know what I mean? Like virality, going viral is not worth. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just now I need this job for the moment more than I need to go viral from this job. If that makes sense. Um, but I do a healthy mix. So if I was still in the warehouse, I would have. That was actually one of the plans. One of my first videos was supposed to be me on the away team in BFL 1. I bought a ring camera, all that stuff. I didn't shoot. I was scared. I was scared to shoot. I was like, what's that noise? It's my TV in the living room. I was scared to shoot. That's when I was, you know what I mean? I was never like, it was never my plan to try to do content creation and all that. Um, but yeah, it would have been dope. Now that I look back, it's like, man, having all that would have been fire. And if I would have stayed there and continued to do away teams, yeah, man, it definitely would have been popping. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I just didn't want to do it. You're trained in amnesty, inbound stove, pick, wire spider, problem solve, outbound ship dock, fluid truck, go karts. Okay. Learning ambassador, stove, same day ship, jam clearing. You the man. You the man, Sticky Man. Shout out to Sticker Man. You say you light skin? Hitting for SB kids. I'm light skin. There ain't nothing wrong with that, fam. That's what's up. It's the Nike system, which says stow heavy items on top. It does? What? That's crazy. I didn't know that. Usually the bottom ones is for stow, and you got to build a bridge. Oh, I forgot to cut my air on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're supposed to. It would say keep it on the bottom. At least when I was there, I remember the Nike stow system. It would, but whenever you had something heavy, it would say heavy, and it had to be on that bottom row. That's weird. It says yes, top. Yes, 10 people got head injuries from bad stowers and item dropped on them. See, I didn't even know, and I knew. That's deep. Said that's fair in fluid trucks because those trailers are packed. Got you. Right. I've cut myself on broken totes, but I shrugged it off and got a new scar. Oh, and got a scar. Yeah, I got injured. I've only gotten injured twice in Amazon. Once when I was doing pallet running as an ambassador, I was Superman. I didn't say no asked me to do. Basically, I think because we had to like refill. We didn't use. I was in Stowe, based and you know how the building in the facilities they have the sides. You have like the fronts where you got like 20 stow stations, but then you have the sides and they're not fully utilized at all times, but they're more so utilized for the pickers or during prime season, then Stowe would just use the whole floor. So it was during that time and our shift was almost over. He was like, yo, can you fill up all the pallets for the stow stations on the wrap? I was like, yep, bet. And then he's just like, but how are you gonna do that? He starts laughing, like, how are you gonna do that? I was like, I don't know, I'm just get it done. And I got it, you know what I mean? I got it done. I stayed later, but I injured myself because I was pulling those pallets and I had it's called a shin splint. I don't know if you ever heard of a shin splint, but I had a shin splint and then I strained a muscle in my forearm when I was stowing some protein packets. And that was my only two injuries I had in Amazon facility. That I pulled my back, my lower back. It was like a sprain, I guess. I don't know what you would call it when an Amazon delivery. Other than that, I haven't had any other injuries in my 6 years with the company. Daniel says that's a cool video. I should probably do a video on that. How many times have I been injured working at Amazon in 6 years? But I got to do. You got to talk about psychological injury when you talking about corporate. You feel me? I've had some psychological injuries. All right. Daniel says, yes, we are required to wear hard hats unloading and loading trucks at AGS1 fulfillment. See, that wasn't the case back in the day. We used to be in there, me only a week, because I said, I'm not doing this. This is, I was like, this seems like a whole nother company down here. But when I was loading trucks, we didn't have to wear no hard hat. So I'm sure it was a lot of other people loading something up, thought it was secure, turned around, wow, just smacked them in the head. But some people probably got injured because some heavy boxes you be dealing with. And then boom, hey, gotta wear the hard hat. Good looking on that info, Daniel. Sticker Man says, safety at Amazon is making it too dangerous nowadays to work in Amazon. Learning agrees. Peter says, what up, dog? How you doing? What's good? What's good? What's good with you, fam? Oh, man, I'm doing good. Blessed over here. Shout out to Peter. Rondo says, I've been hitting the head at a pig station. Hard hats make sense to me as a tote runner. I've slammed stacks on my toes plenty. Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's a fact. It does make sense. I can't lie though. It was dope when you know what I mean? You were just in there with your street clothes, regular sneakers, pulling totes. I was doing VRC. I was a VR on the VRC team. So, you know, we dealing with pallets. We're putting them in the VRC, setting them up, unloading pallets, running up the stairs. You know what I mean? Like, and you look back like, yeah, I can see how that was. When as a pallet runner, when you pull in a pallet and then you drop it, them things just boom. Those thousands of pounds that can crush your toes. You know what I mean? I never had my toes crushed, but yeah, it makes sense. And then to look back, it's like, yeah, we was pretty, you know, that's funny. And you slam stacks onto your toes. That's deep. Sticker says women need their hair up. So dumb if they leave it loose, given the conveyors. Right. Nah, I feel you on that. I've heard some stories. Enzo says the more people tell us what's going on Amazon and the changes they are making, the more I'm glad I don't work for Amazon no more. I feel it, man. I feel it. I'm glad to work at Amazon. You know what I mean? Just because I guess I'm here. So, you know me, I'm optimistic, man. I'm going to make the best of wherever I'm at. So I'm here. So, but even besides me being here, like it's a lot. Like a lot of my life, you know, has been like for real blessed by the company. You know what I mean? I was able to change states because there was another Amazon here. The size of the network, the promotions, you know what I mean? The stocks, like it's, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for now. For now, you know, we in new times. You know, I think there's things coming down the pipeline. I don't know what's coming down the pipeline. Hopefully, it's not. You know what I mean? We don't know what's coming. We don't know what tomorrow holds in this season that we're in the country, in the work, in the work industry. I think, you know, there's a lot going on right now. And I think that same thing holds for Amazon. I think there's things coming down the pipeline. Have I heard anything? No. Have I seen anything? No. But just go based off the economy, it's just like it only makes sense. You know what I mean? But hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully everything's cool. We all ride into the sunset, continue to get paid. But I appreciate it no matter what. I mean, even if let's say if something happened tomorrow, um, if something happened tomorrow with the company, hold on, let me find the charger. Where's the charger at? This is why I'm always trying to tell y'all: play the game, play the game, play the Amazon game, and win. And what's the game? I made a vlog on it if y'all didn't see that, but the game is to leave better than what you came. And I'm not just talking about leave a better stower. You're like, oh, leave better than what you came. You know, let your life be elevated. You know what I mean? Let your life be better than it was when you came. You know, and if Amazon ended tomorrow, my life has leveled up 4, 5, 6 times of what it was, probably more than that, literally from when I came. You know what I mean? And I think that should be the goal, not just at Amazon, in every job, because so many people go to a job and then they just treat it, it's just a routine, no plans, no goals. You know what I mean? And so then when they, if something, God forbid, something happens, they lose their job. When they lose it, they're in the same exact position, same level. You know what I mean? And that's like, what's the point of that? Um, So yeah, I'm appreciative, man. I appreciate Amazon to the max. I'm glad I'm here, man. I got to level up. I got to level up in life, man, due to Amazon. And I'm still right now, I've been doing 50 plus hours for the last 2 months. Nasty work. Nasty Amazon. Uncle Jeff, give me the money. Give me your money, Unc. I'm all in his pockets. I'm all in his pockets right now, these last 2 months. Give me the Beso bucks, Unc. Give them to me. I'm snatching all the Beso bucks. Why? And why am I doing that? Not just to collect. You feel me? Because and I'm putting it into other things to continue to elevate, that should be the goal. I don't want to work for nobody forever, whether it be Amazon or any company. I want to work for myself. I want to be my own. I want to own my own company. Well, I do, but I want to be doing that by itself, But until that point, I've been telling people this is a great company to leverage, especially if you're an entrepreneur. If you have any talent or gift outside this company, this is one of the best companies, in my opinion, to leverage to get capital quick to put back into what you're doing. All right, my bad. I went on a rant there. Sorry, guys. I'm a little passionate about that, if you can't tell. All right. Sticker Man says it's our upper management who leaks details. Oh man. And do nothing about it. My senior friend was just fired after 8 years. That's deep. That sucks. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. But leaking details in the workplace, man, that's a whole vlog in itself right there. That's deep. Enzo says, SB, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are more spiritual, right? If so, what do you believe as far as the spiritual side? Yeah, definitely spiritual. Facts. Like so much so, I wouldn't even tell you how like all in one video because like, oh, I mean, not ashamed or anything, but no, definitely spiritual for sure. Why do you think my page is so happy and motivating? You know what I mean? Like, what dude, Black American, is this happy and motivating? Yeah, there's some, but I ain't said. I mean, think about it. How many times have I cussed on this channel? Not one time. You ain't gonna find one cuss word. You ain't gonna find me gossiping, hating on nobody. You're not gonna find me putting nobody down. You're not gonna. What else? You're not gonna find on the channel. You're not gonna find me glorifying nobody getting killed. No rap music that's talking about killing my own people. None of that's found on this page. That's the reason. You know what I mean? It should be like, and it's funny because when people find out, they're like, oh, well, man, that makes sense now. So yeah, I'm very spiritual, man. I'm a follower of the Lord, man, disciple of the Lord. That's a fact. Um, yeah, and that's one thing aspect I was gonna bring to the channel. But I just, I just, you know what I mean? I ain't did it. I just haven't did it, man. Because, and the reason why I haven't, this page is the algorithm of this page is just weird. So I wanted to do it in the algorithm when this algorithm is algorithm on this page, but for the algorithm to algorithm, I have to be consistent. So every time I try to get boom, 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 get on it, peak season comes, or it's always at the worst time, or like right now, my focus has been on my faith, on my, whether it be me reading, praying, making sure my walk's right, but my music that I do for the Lord and my faith, I have my faith-based YouTube channel and all that stuff. So my focus is more so over there. But I never left this channel and never will because some of the realest people, some of our realest supporters, low key, is over here. Just being honest. Um, but I do plan to bring that aspect to this side of the page. and not to, and just so, you know what I mean? And I'm sure people be interested, like, huh, I didn't think you believed that, but that's what's up. Same way I would if I followed a YouTuber. Most people don't have their spiritual side and what they truly believe on their YouTube channel. But if I was following a certain one and he had like some way out belief or something, I don't have a way out belief. But I'm just saying, I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Like I never would have thought that. That's okay, man. That's deep. But I would continue to enjoy him talking about stocks if that's what he was talking about. But yeah. So I hope that helps. Sticker says reactives are pain. Shout out to the reactives, man. I remember chasing them things all day. I seen a guy ride the conveyor because he was chasing his drop. Okay, so I seen this happen, but they didn't hop on the conveyor. They just chased the phone down. Listen, stowers or not really stowers who's doing because you're stowing, but I seen that on the pack side. It was packing, and somehow I don't know if they packed their phone in the box. Oh, I think when they threw the box, they actually they accidentally threw their phone on the conveyor as well, and and they in a straight panic because they phone. And how many conveyors is it in pack side? 20 of them going every which way like a roller coaster, like 10 roller coasters combined. You're done. You better use where's my phone, because it's gonna get shipped up out of here in like 20 minutes. I was scare them like that, and their face would be like blue, and I'm like, no, I'm just playing. Here, I'll shut this slime. I'll talk to the slam person, and then what I mean, we'll just grab it over there. But they would be looking like their life is over. Now, somebody jumping on a conveyor, that's the silliest. Your job's over. And for your phone, I get it, but just follow it down. And well, I mean, I get it, but then it's like, bro, what you got on that phone? What you got on that phone where you were willing to lose your job? Crazy. Where we at? Am I far behind on these comments? Yeah, I gotta kind of catch up, huh? Where we at? Oh, here we go. All right. Sticker Man said, miss you, Icy. Been a week, girl. You gonna drop $20 on me this week? Good. Sticker Man is funny. Hey, shout out to Rondo for the super chat. Good looking, my guy. Good looking, Rondo. Appreciate that. Every time it's a super chat, that's definitely a blessing. I know finances in these times is a lot. So thank you much, man. Definitely appreciate you, Rondo. Appreciate that a lot. Sticker Man says, watch your VTO because Amazon loves taking it on VET shifts. I got mine reimbursed. Huh. Yeah, definitely watch your VTO, man. If you're a UPT ninja, be careful out there in the Amazon streets because I don't think now's the time to be playing with no VTO for sure. I don't think so. For real. Andre says Amazon got this new cover on his shift, at least at his FC. That's what's up. A new cover? Oh, cover my shift. Oh, that's what's up. That's official. Imagine you want to miss a day. Now you don't have to lose your UPT if somebody can swap it with you. That's dope. Hopefully that's a thing that stays. That's official. Icy says Rondo making a thunderstorm in the chats. Let's go. Sticker Man, laugh out loud. Maybe let's see. Oh, that was good. Enzo says, I mean, Black Adam. You could have been the next Black Adam on the away team, like how The Rock is now with the current entrance of the WWE. Good. Hey, I was. Yeah, that would have been funny. That would have been cool. Hey, shout out to the away team, man. If y'all ain't been on the away team, go on the away team. The away teams is lit. It's a dope experience, man. A dope work experience for sure. Peter says they are implementing robot in FC. I work for a picking department. So they're implementing like a picking robot. Like, is that what you're saying? Like a robot that picks? I remember when I launched Sand 3, they have a whole floor of robots. That was the craziest thing I seen. I was like, bruh. So what's this? What's this? I felt like we wasn't supposed to see it. I was like, we supposed to be here? But it's like these arms that pull. It's just weird. I was just like, man, we gotta do what we can while we can, quick, because these robots is here. For sure. Sticker Man says America buys stuff tons of Amazon next day service. I did 12,500 packages next day last night. Crazy, but America hates Amazon. Catch 22. Right. But see, America is the land of the consumers, man. That's one thing America's not gonna do. Stop spending money. They're not ever gonna do that. It's programmed in us. Every music tells you to spend, TV tells you to spend, everything tells you to spend. You know what I mean? People ain't gonna stop spending. Even when they don't have it, what do? Credit cards. Even when that's gone, they're gonna find a way. If Americans gonna find a way to do anything, they're gonna find a way to spend some money. That's a fact. That's a fact. Good luck. Scared to shoot like your name's Ben Simmons. Okay. I see you're dropping bars though. Scared to shoot like your name's Ben Simmons. Okay, Icy must be over here listening to some rap music. She got that from somewhere. Icy, you ain't got bars like that. Shout out to Icy. Sticker Man says used to be, but new Nike upgrade screwed. Oh, okay. Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, that sounds like a safety issue waiting to happen. Icy says, we can't wait for you to turn your air on. No wonder in the beginning of the live you kept saying you were sweating. Right. You know, it ain't super hot. I think we did hit 100 today. Well, we've been hitting 100 like all the time, but it don't seem too bad. I don't know why I was sweating in the beginning. I think I was just a little too amped up. I was getting everything set up and had to change all that stuff. I think that's kind of what it was. And I was working out too before the vlog. I'm at 260 push-ups for the day. Just 60 or 5. Yeah, I'm at 260 push-ups for the day. You feel me? I hit that. I hit some of my dumbbells over here. And then I'm at 260 push-ups, some dumbbells, did my arms, shoulders, triceps, and I'm at like 3 miles so far for the day. So my goal is to hit 500 before the night. We'll see how it goes. I've been back on my fitness. You feel me? I've been back on it. Sticker Man says the Nike system has been changed over the past 2 years and still changing due to safety. That makes sense. Shin splints, yes, I've heard of it. Wellness can help you. I didn't even go to Amcare. I walked it off. And it was funny. It was like, are you all right, SB? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Went off. Yo, I was doing too much, man. I don't regret it though. I don't regret it. Sticker Man says 2 years. 2 years there. I have tendonitis issues, my elbows, my knees, my feet, blisters, and from the safety shoes. That's deep. Man, my dude, you have you don't be putting those insoles in your shoes. Those don't help. That's deep. Daniel says also now we're required to have ear protection. All of this makes sense though. When you think about it, all of this makes sense in a real warehouse job. It's just like Amazon just never did all that stuff. But all that makes sense. Them conveyors do be loud. I never wore ear protection though. There's people who did. Shout out to Daniel. That's what's up. I mean, you're preserving your ears. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure some people probably sued or something. Like I'm saying, they don't just roll these things out because they've had the ear protection machine since I've been there. You know what I mean? So they've always had it, but by them making it like mandatory, something had to happen. You know? Andre says, I only hurt myself once. I cut my ankle doing tote running. The blood was all in my shoe and sock. So I had to get off the floor for some time to stop the bleeding. That's deep, man. That's crazy. That's like when I had my motorcycle accident. My sock had blood in it. It was all like as soon as you walk, it's all squishy with blood. That's deep to happen from a tote cut, but them totes do be sharp. Man, that's deep. I'm glad you was all right from that. Man, that's a good vlog. I think that's a good vlog concept though, because Amazon is scrutinized and publicized for their injuries. And for me to think I only had 2 during my whole 6 years, I can really think of in the warehouse. Well, it wasn't in the warehouse 6 years. 2 years? I was only in the warehouse 2 years, bro. Nah, about 3 years, something like that. No, it's only like two, a little bit over 2. That's crazy. I've been in corporate way longer than in the warehouse. That's terrifying. Well, not really, but I don't like how that sounds. I'm gonna have to do that vlog though, just because I think that's a good vlog. Let me write that down. I like that. Where's my notes? SB vlogs. All of those down here. Injuries. I like that. All right. Rondo or Sticker Man says Rondo awesome. I wish we had loud music playing on floors again, but Amazon says our ears will be hurt. We used to do that though. They don't do that no more. I remember we used to have like a speaker. It was on occasion though. And then we'll be blasting music for everybody. But then it would all be one person comes up and like, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. You know what I mean? But man, Amazon it was cool back then, man. It sounds definitely sound like a different place now, but shout out to the Zon, shout out to the FC. You feel me? Sticker Man says, I'm a learning ambassador. I am scared what I learn at a T3 position. Oh man, it's all good. You'll be good. Rondo says, I hate when my AMs play their music, to be honest. I don't want to hear nobody's music. All right. So see, that's one person who don't like to hear music. And that's not uncommon. Like when we used to play music for the floor, there would be some people come like, yo, I don't want to hear no music. And you got to respect it. You know what I mean? Not everybody wants to hear music. Everybody don't want hey man, let's just cut the music off. Everybody doesn't want to hear everybody's music. Me, I don't care. You know what I mean? As long as it ain't no, I'm not trying to just hear no. You feel me? I don't care. You know what I mean? Because I know they're gonna play the censored version in the workplace. So whatever is being talked about. Hold on. That yeah, it's cool. That thing looks like that. Yeah. Shout out to Rondo. Shout out to everybody who doesn't want to hear the music. That's gotta respect it. Sticker Man says the job security is great. The stocks are terrible. The jobs are being eliminated. Man, them stocks have been real good to me. They've been good, real good. They're gonna be even more good on the 20 in a month. They're gonna be good again. But whether like leverage it though, leverage it. Would you say the jobs are being eliminated? Man, I hear that. I would think so too. So get it while we can, you know. Sticker Man says the economy is boycotting Amazon. I did not know that. Where do we hear this at? Let me see. And it's too late. I've said that before. It's too late. Amazon it's way too late. Amazon boycott. It's too late. They've tried. And even when they try, I was like, it's too late. It's too late, man. Like, no, it's too late. There's a few things that they can do. If they cross a certain line, there's probably like two things where I think if they cross this line or that line, that it can impact the company. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's about two things that can probably still shake it up, no matter how big of a beast you think you are. The Titanic sunk, you know what I mean? So even though Amazon's a Titanic, there's about two things, two lines if they cross, they'll fill it. But other than that, Amazon they've done the greatest thing, convenience. They've taken convenience to out of this world. You can order today and it'll be at your doorstep in like 6 hours for certain things. Groceries, food, all this stuff. It's just too late. It's too convenient. In my opinion. I could be wrong. In my opinion, you know what I mean? I just don't think Amazon, they're just too big. I mean, not just too big, the convenience. The convenient they've just taken it out of this world. And it's getting more and more convenient that they're adding by the day. You know what I mean? But Jeff himself said there's going to be a day that Amazon collapses. He said that. I think I should probably retouch that. I don't know. Probably not right now. Probably shouldn't touch that during this season. But you know what I mean? Look that up about what Jeff said about the company. He did say that out of his own mouth. You know, that was pretty crazy. He said Walmart and eBay is better sometimes. I've been hearing that from people. I've heard people say Amazon's not the cheapest anymore. I don't know though. You know what I mean? That's deep. That's what's up. Daniel says, Sticker man, chill. We all have bad days. We need to vent, but this is a group chat. Oh, it's all good, man. I don't think he said nothing bad. What did he say? Did he say something bad? Oh, about the boycotting? Yeah, I don't think he said nothing too bad. Oh, Rondo, wish we had allowed me to plan. Oh, sorry. I don't think nothing. He didn't say nothing too crazy. It's all good, man. All right, let's see. Peter says, I'm thankful for Amazon. Amazon helped me too get my degree in computer science, right? Win the game. Win the game. Is it challenging sometimes? Yes. Can the job suck at sometimes if you in certain positions? It possibly can. You know what I mean? Could it be strenuous sometimes? Yes. Can it be stressful sometimes? Yes. But here's the thing: what job is not gonna do all those? Actually, there's probably not. There's probably some jobs that doesn't. It's security. I've done security before. Easiest job on planet Earth that I've done. But security is not gonna pay me like Amazon. Security is not gonna give me, what's those things called? PTO. What's our other one? UPT, vacation time. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think it's play the game and win the game. I think it's you can leverage this company, but it's not for everybody, and I totally understand it. Some people, it just wasn't for me. I still did it, but I don't like it at all. Every day I didn't like it. I made the best out of it, and I appreciated it. But if I had the choice, I wouldn't want to do that. But nah, I'm with Peter, man. Shout out to the company. I would definitely. I had to do it though. The company ain't never gave me none. I had to fight tooth and nail for everything I've had, but I was able to accomplish it and get it and better my life. Sticker man say you love Amazon because you're corporate. I don't never see. No, I didn't say that. You're wrong. You're wrong. First sentence, you're wrong. I never said I love Amazon. I'll never say I love a company. Nah, because companies are for profit and companies, I don't want to say they exploit our labor, but let's be honest, these people is making a whole lot of money. I do think we could be paid more. I don't love no company. Never have said that. Um, I believe they can do more for their employees. What's one of the main thing Amazon says? Customer obsession, right? We're their number one customers before the customers. We're employees, right? So nah, I always say I appreciate Amazon. There's a big difference between appreciating something and loving something. Never said, not one time have I said I love this company. Have I said that? No, because I'm very purpose and I'm very intentional and specific with my words, especially love. I don't say that. I don't say that. Appreciated Amazon, and I do to this day. Even in my worst positions where I felt anxiety and stress, it sucked. You know what I mean? But I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Still. So I never loved this company. I never loved any company that I work for. Except when I worked at a church. I love that company. You feel me? Shout out to the church. You said because you're corporate and above L6 by contract, my old friend L7 can't say much. Amazon will sue you. I'm not L6. I'm not under contract either. So I always say, like what I just said, that was not the best thing to say, but I want to keep it balanced. I think Amazon, you know what I mean? I think they always give us evaluations on corporate, right? Below the bar, meets the bar, exceeds the bar. I think Amazon meets the bar on customer obsession for their employees. I think they meet it. They don't exceed the bar though. You know what I mean? In my opinion. In my opinion. This is just my bar. I mean, I mean, if what are we comparing them to? If we're comparing them to the other companies, I think they exceed the bar, but we're not supposed to compare. You know what I mean? That's their slogan, customer obsession and all these things. Think big. All those are your principles. You should be, if you should be, you should be, you feel me? It shouldn't be even close. So I stick to my original statement. And this is the more critiquing. They do better than most. Just being honest. How many companies have had raises during these times? Not many. That's what I'm saying. Not many. And people love to just talk crazy about Amazon. But how many companies have had raises since inflation? Fam, there's a lot of companies who ain't had a raise since 2019, since inflation started kicking in. Not 2019, 2020 is when inflation started kicking in, 2020, and ain't had a raise since. Can you imagine that? Ain't no 6 months raise for them. They get into loan. Still can't say they exceed the bar though. I really want them to. I really want to evaluate them and exceeds the bar with customer session for their employees. Can we give them that, y'all? What y'all think? Come on, y'all. Let me know in the chat. And I got to catch up on these comments. I'm very behind. But let me know. And let's be honest with this evaluation. Do they exceed the bar? Just off the raises alone. Let me know. We got vacation. We got PTO. You feel me? We got UPT. You know, we got leave of absences we can use. We have bereavements we can use. You don't know. I mean, do they exceed the bar? Let me know, y'all. What's y'all opinion on that? All right. Let me catch up. Oh, hold on. So you say I love Amazon, but all right. So now I never said I love Amazon. Grateful and I appreciate it though, for sure. Still to this day. Even when I was frustrated and mad at Amazon, still appreciated it. Enzo says, yeah, your passion for Amazon guts. Sticker man says Amazon doesn't care about previous employment, but only star methods and metrics only. I know I found that out too, which is good though. Like, I mean, hold on. Why should they? In our system, and I'm not saying that as if I was them. This is a different ball game. Amazon's different from a lot of these companies. I've never worked for a company like Amazon. They're like that. Who's moving like this? Unless you're all right, FedEx or UPS, that makes sense. It's just you in the same ball field. But you feel me? I was management in a property complex. Okay, so that's cool. How does that work here? I can manage people. That's how I was thinking. I can manage people. Yeah, but can you manage people while we're moving, 100,000 freight every shift? And you know what I mean? It's just a whole nother level. So and they never said that to me, but I think it makes sense. What do you do here? And then that's dope too, because then it evens the playing field. Somebody can't just come in here and be like, oh, well, I did. Okay, cool. Well, what can you do here? Because then I probably could have gotten written off by somebody who came in with all these great things that they said they did in their past. Okay, you did all that, but can you hang with SB on this floor right here? Infield. All right, leave our religion alone because it hurts people's feelings. I am Christian and believe in giving people $1 if they're broke. Leave our religion, fam. I don't know what you mean by this, fam. You're gonna have to expound on that for me. I don't know what you mean by that. Enzo says, I'm going to ask you a crazy question. Do you believe that some people have a spiritual gift or some sort of psychic abilities? Most spiritual people believe in that. What about you? Yes, I do believe, but I don't believe. Yeah. Let me loosen up. You know what I mean? No, I'm playing. Yeah, I believe you can tap into the spiritual, but there's a legal way and there's ways that's not legal, and that's the way that I look at it. Yeah, I believe in spiritual gifts. Who you getting them from and who you using them for? You know? Yeah. So to answer that simple and plain and simple, yeah, I believe that. Now, psychic abilities, I believe people do that. Do I think they're tapped into the legal source? No, that's my opinion. That's my beliefs. Nah, I don't believe that. Most spiritual people believe in that. What about you? I know. Here's something that I know. I know the spiritual realm is real, fam. Facts. If I know anything, you think I know Amazon? I know the spiritual side is real. Facts. I can't even. I'm trying to figure out which experience to pull out right now. I don't. Let me wait till my camera unfreezes so I can look you in your face. How did Birdman say it? So I can look at you in the man. Look in you. I forgot. Birdman in that interview was hilarious. If I know anything, spiritual realm is real. Facts. I'll leave that at that. All right. Sticker Man says, I'll always have $1 in my pocket. So end of the day, I'm always rich versus others. That's what's up. That's what's up. Icy Lambo. Continue liking the video on y'all way in, guys. Continue to like it, guys. Shout out to Icy Lambo. Icy, you're gonna have to hop in one of these days and just shout. You're gonna have to hop on the live for like a cool 5 minutes. Icy, you ready to hop on? I'll pull you on right now. You're gonna hop on Icy for like 5 minutes. I'll give you five. Just hop on. Say what's up to the people. You be tapped in every week. What's good? Peter, you want to hop on? Who want to hop on for 5 minutes? I feel like bringing somebody up. That's always in here though. No more. I did that one time with some random person. It just went the other way. I had to delete it. Shout out to Icy. All right. Sticker Man says Amazon is eliminating lazy associates soon and replacing them with robots who don't like to work. That's interesting. Peter says, yes, they are implementing picking and stowing robots in my FC. And I heard rumor that they're going to lay off 1,400 employees once they're done putting the robots in all together. That's deep. I guess we're going to see. You know what I mean? I guess we're going to see. That's deep. And that sucks if that happens, but let us know, Peter. Definitely let us know. Sean, what up, though? What up, Big Sean? It's the real Big Sean. You feel me? This is the real Big Sean. Oh, he made it back from Vegas. You feel me? Not in jail. So he didn't end up wrestling no who were you wrestling out there? What are those people? Was it not the homeless? It was people handing out stuff. I forgot who Sean made it back though. Salute. Salute to Sean. He's back. He's free. Look, you got arrested. Guts. Hey man. Shout out to Sean having a dope vacation, man. Shout out to you, Sean. The real Big Sean. You feel me? Double Down, what's good with you, my guy? Double Down the building. Good to see you. Always staying sharp with his suit and tie. I see you. Says thumbs up. Good looking, fam. If y'all ain't hit that like button, hit that like button one time. Sticker Man says, Andre, I did the same thing. Loaded totes in the VRC. Still have the scar and blood stained sock I wear daily to remind me of blood. Sticker Man, if you don't throw that sock away, fam, ain't that hazardous or something? That's like, fam, throw that sock away. He said, hold on, let me read it again. That's pretty funny. Imagine if you had said that in person, I would have been like, I'm the dude. I would have like looked at your feet. All right, Andre, I did the same thing. Loading totes in the VRC. Still have the blood scar and blood-stained sock. I wear it daily to remind me of blood. Sweat and tears. Okay, I love the part out. Blood, sweat, and tears from Amazon. And not being a baby. I'm 45 years old. That's deep, man. That's deep. But let's change them socks though, fam. You feel me? Let's get some new ones. No, I'm just playing. That's cool. But I'm sure he washed them. No more, not no more. OSHA says we can't have music, only earbuds. If y'all have earbuds, that's still a win. Because we wasn't allowed no earbuds. That's what's up. Daniel says, actually, I'm trying out my plug phones to test the battery for my earplugs. That's what's up. Sticker Man said, everyone listens to Loud Conveyors now. Easy E, Real G's, and Still Dre instrumentals are at startups for me. That's funny. That's good. Yo, those startups used to be lit, man. I miss the warehouse. I ain't gonna lie. Sean says, I'm still off one more week. I heard my building is slow. That's what's up. Enjoy, my dude. Rest up. You feel me? And so you can come back refreshed, rejuvenated. That's a good thing. Having a 2 weeks off. I'm due for another one of those myself, man. Good. That's some good stuff. Christian H, shout out to you. I've never seen you before, so shout out to you. Look like a first time commenter in the building. What's good with you? Says clearly it's not being boycotted. Amazon stocking at all time high. Everyone is buying from Amazon. Yeah, I don't think Amazon, but that doesn't mean somebody didn't try to boycott it, or you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure they're. I wouldn't be. I've heard like there was somebody saying something about it, and it's just, even in real life, yeah, in the office, somebody was talking about that, and I was like, I said the same thing. There's no way. It's just not going to happen unless there is a way. There's a way. They cross certain lines on certain topics. If they get crazy on, yeah, they will be. They'll feel it. Will it shut it down? No, but Amazon is big on their public perception. I've said that since day one. That's how I knew raises were coming when everybody was saying, "Oh, Amazon's not." I said, I don't know. They're real big on their. If anything can move the needle at Amazon, it's public perception for whatever reason. They care about that a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know. And look at them online. They've upped their social media presence 1,000. Like 1,000 compared to where it was, you know. And I think that's it was always random people saying how they hated Amazon. I think they're trying to not control the narrative, but I don't know. But for sure, everyone's still buying from Amazon right now. That's a fact. I agree. Because yeah, I had to Google it, like boycott. What boycott's going on? Sean says Vegas was fun. I don't gamble. Mostly went to restaurants and hit the strip. That's what's up. That's what's up. Daniel says, sorry, I'm out. Sticker Man can hang with you. What'd he say? I don't know what did Sticker Man say, fam? Let me know what he said. Maybe I missed it. Because I don't remember what he said. Daniel, let me know. Man, I don't think he said nothing pretty crazy. Let me know if I missed it though. People are canceling Prime, is what I mean. Prime tame, I think it takes 15 days to show up. That's terrible. Personally, I canceled 2 times this year on Prime items. My Prime don't take my Prime be coming immediately. You know what I mean? We had this talk in the office too, and everybody else said the same. They Prime be coming on point. So I don't know. Maybe you should probably, you know what I mean? Did you say you cancel it? You said people is canceling Prime? Let me Google that and let's see if that's actually like a thing. People canceling Amazon Prime. 4 reasons you should cancel Amazon Prime. That's in 2025 in May. What are we in right now? We're in what? June, July? We're in July. Looks like they tried to. It's time to break up with Amazon. Look at all this. Yeah, I guess there was people trying to cancel Amazon Prime. It looks like they tried. Did it work? No. Come on. Uncle Jeff? Come on. Come on. That's not gonna happen. Amazon users say they canceled Prime after video shows pricing claims. Washington Post flooded by cancellations after Bezos' non-endorsement decision. Man, non-endorsement of what? What is going on? I didn't have no clue. I don't know what's going on. Non-endorsement of what? I don't even want to click on it because that is from NPR. I don't even know what that is. Anyways, yeah, there was no boycott, whatever they was talking about. And Sticker Man, yeah, I don't know what's up with that, man. I've never had no Prime issues. I think it's even when you send stuff back, they give you full refunds. Sometimes you try to send stuff back, they say keep it and they send you like it's just. I mean, hey, if y'all want to get it, but that's just my experience. You know what I mean? I can't speak for everybody. I've become a firm believer in manifestation, which has improved my outlook on life. What about you? Do you believe in manifestation? I don't. What do you mean? What is the definition of that? Because everybody has different definitions of things, so I don't want to judge it unless I know the definition that you're talking about. What do you mean by manifestation, Rondo? Fill me in. Andre says boycott Amazon. They failed to boycott Walmart in the 80s and the 90s. Hey, Walmart has some boycotters though. I know somebody to this day, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm gonna have to ask them tomorrow. Somebody, because here's the thing: Walmart was I think that was something that should have been boycotted and should have been stood upon because what they did is a part of the thing that they're still doing to this day, getting rid of mom and pop and small businesses. They put out so many small businesses that is Crazy. I think Walmart should have been boycotted way in the inception of that thing, but it wasn't. And look what happened. But why didn't it though? The same thing I said about Amazon. Convenience. You can get everything there. You don't got to go to 5, 6, 7 different small businesses. You can go to one spot, convenience, and it was probably cheaper than the small businesses there. But at the cost of it, they knocked out all the small businesses in them and everywhere it went. An epidemic of small everywhere they went, small businesses knocked out for the most part. So I think that that boycott should have been stood upon for sure, for sure. Facts. And then I'm not going to get into it too much, but I think there's a bigger when you look into who started Walmart, you look into him and his family, and you feel me? I don't trust Walmart, just being honest. But y'all know I got never mind. Shout out to Andre. Good stuff. They failed and they should have stood on that Walmart boycott for sure. Is that my dog out there howling? All right, I think he stopped. Sean says Vegas was fun. I don't gamble. Went mostly to the. Oh, wait, I read that one, right? Yeah. Double Down says Prime Week 25 billion in sales, 14 billion last week. Boycott what? But see, I wonder how much, even though, like, because I'm like, okay, inflation, how much accounts for inflation for this 25 billion? But still, that's a big jump. You know what I mean? So either way, yeah, what boycott is people talking about? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, I feel you on that. Double Down. 25 billion. That's crazy. Wow. Well, okay, how did we get 25 billion? But just last week they said it dropped 40%. Where's you feel me? Something's not adding up somewhere. How did they get that wrong? The people who were scrutinizing Amazon saying it was down 40% from the year before, prior, you know? And what sells, you know what I mean? I wonder the numbers Amazon went off of to get 25 billion. That's deep. But I haven't checked out any of the press releases, so I have no clue. But that's what's up. That's a good sign for us if that's real, you know what I mean? And that's official, nothing inflated, nothing gassed up. That's good. That means, hey, let's keep working. you know, Sounds like there's still some work for us. Sticker Man says, I said Amazon is great income, but we all agree our jobs suck. I don't think my job sucks. You feel me? But I hear where you're coming from. And it's upper management. We AAs have a VOA board to change, but RFC don't care. Hence why my senior got fired. She was too nice. TOT is off the charts. We're not employees, we're associates. It's a difference. Amazon is a contracted job, not normal. We have 40 hours and no excuse time, only UPT, then you're let go. They don't meet the associates bar, and most companies will keep you. If you're a great worker, no UPT points. I'll be at Amazon for life, though. Bruh. Bro, you just said all of that and then ended off, but I'm going to be here forever. Fam, that's the funniest thing so far tonight. You just gave a whole rant. Like somebody wanted to leave the chat because you were just so negative about the company. Just to say, I'm gonna be here forever though. Shut up. Yo, that's hilarious. That is funny. That's funny. He said, I'll be in Amazon for life though. After all of that, that's funny, fam. That's hilarious. All right. No company has given raises. I appreciate my 50-cent raise at Amazon in 2 years. So are you maxed out? Because how do you only get 50 cents in 2 years? It should be what, 30 cents every 2 months or something like that? I mean, 3 months? So you should have had that in 1 year easily. You should have had that. Correct. Bereavement is not that easy with Amazon. I did it. It was pretty easy with me. So maybe not for everybody, but everybody that I know that did it, it was no issue involved. I had bereavement. I was able to take off. I took off 3 days, and it was paid for, fam. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It was paid for. What I had to show was the little paper from the it was a funeral So it's a paper. What is that thing called? I always forget. The obituary, I believe that's what it's called. I had to show that and a gas receipt, and I was straight. They didn't take no time, gave me 3 days off, and paid me for each day. I never had no company pay me for my days off like that. That's what's up, though. Sticker man, are you a temporary or seasonal white badge? Uh, Sticker man, I could hang with SB on the playing field. Stop. Playing what? Maybe video games. Yeah, I don't play games. What game? What you talking? Fam, negative. No field. No field. What field? Playing field. Stop it. Peace out, everyone. May the pause be with you. All right, Rondo. Have a good one, Rondo. Enzo says, I'm just going to say this. I see you are trying to be careful with your words with the spiritual realm is what you mean. Not be careful, man, but you know what I mean? It's just well, you know what I mean? That just goes so deep. I, I don't want to open up something to where we got to go super deep. You know what I mean? So that's why I just said, kept it basic, plain simple. You know what I mean? Sticker man says next week I'll hop on. Okay, for sure, for sure. Enzo says, so I've been having a lot of dreams with this woman where I would see her in school sitting on benches or just hanging out together or just riding together. And after talking to several people who are in the spiritual side, it confirmed to me that this girl are spiritually connected. We have always been connected, even though we have been distant since 2017. I'm not going to put the name on there. Just, I just don't really like doing that. Let's just say a lot of very interesting things have happened to my life since October 24th when it comes down to between me and this person, and you put the name in there. I was just trying to avoid that. We met on August 2013 and we are tight. We're very close friends. Many people view us as potential powerful couple. We were kids. Let me see. We were kids at that point, range from 16 to 19. One of the things that I will say, this is what you want to be very, very careful who you're going to about spiritual information. That's because you can cross it because you don't know who they're talking to on the spiritual side. You don't know who they tapped into. Who said that? When you said you went to somebody and they said, who said that? Where you get that from? Who told you that? That's very important. Where's this information that you're receiving into your life? This is why I don't ever people see. That's what I'm saying. You received that information, meaning you believe. Oh, you believe that you received that information. Where'd that information come from? What did you? That's very important. You feel me? Be very, and I'm not just in general. When you're dealing with spiritual stuff, man, and you're trying to seek out something for your dreams. You got to be very careful who you're going to get that information because here's the thing, you don't know you don't know where people are getting their information from. I'm not saying you got it from a wrong source. I don't know. I don't really want to know. I don't want to know. Just being honest, you know what I'm saying? But why? Because if you, and why do I say that? If they got it from somebody, you know what I mean? You can open a door in your life for you know what I mean? The spiritual thing, the spiritual realm is just not something to play with, tamper with, take lightly. And I'm not saying you are, but just be careful, man, where you getting your information from. But anyways, but everything you said, yeah, that's deep. You know what I mean? That's I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I don't know. I mean, if they told you that, then you received it and believed it. You know what I mean? And I guess you'll see. You know what I mean? I guess you'll see. Sticker Man says Amazon is pushing more money into AI, not fulfillment centers. Pat the gamer. Look at Pat changing up his little profile picture, looking fresh. Okay, we see you, Pat. We see you, Pat. Looking like anime. No, I'm playing. That's not what anime look like. But shout out to Pat in the building. What's good with you, fam? Sticker Man says, please let me know, Dan. Oh, good looking, Pat. Good looking on the super chat, man. That's definitely a blessing, man. Appreciate you, my dude. That means a lot to me. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Pat. That means a lot, fam. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate you, Pat. Enzo says we may be meeting up again this coming month, according to 3 spiritual advisors and other people I know who believe in spirituality. This is the question I didn't want to come. What do you think, FB? That's the question I didn't want to come. Well, what do I think? I don't mess with nobody who you don't just get information from the spiritual realm. You feel me? That's like you have to be tapped in. What are you tapped into? Who are you talking to on the spiritual side? What are it's just a lot of questions. Okay, what do I think? I'm just gonna be honest with you because you asked me. I was moving on. Everything I read earlier, I said, hey, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But now you're asking me, so I have to tell you. You know what I mean? Me. Hold on. So your last thing you said, you're meeting up. What you say? We may be meeting up again this again this coming month, according to 3 spiritual advisors. I think it, I don't know what you mean. What do I think? Like, would I do that? No, I don't know. Spiritual advisors? Who made you spiritual advisors? What spiritual? I don't know, fam. That's too much for me. Listen, and there are people I know who believe in spirituality. What do I think? Listen, I'm a follower of the Lord. And I don't even trust every person who says they're a follower of the Lord. I don't trust their words. A lot of those people's words that they be speaking. Oh, God said, I don't just be like, I believe that. Oh, God told me this for you. I don't I don't need to know. Here's the thing. People is people is people is people. I don't believe everything that people say. So with me, I don't go to somebody to tell me my spiritual dreams. I had low key, no lie, and it's crazy that you said this. I'll be honest. I had like 6 dreams last night, fam. I don't usually have that many. I had like 6 because sometimes like I usually have like 3 dreams, and it's weird, but like to have 3 dreams, I usually have like in a night I'll have like 3 different dreams. I had like 6. That's a lot. And each one was just like, you know what I mean? But I've never even thought to go to somebody to ask them, like, hey, you know what I mean? If I did, it would be somebody who had my faith, my belief, and it would not just be some random person, it would be somebody that I know, you know? Um, so overall, and you know, unless they believe what I believe, I'm not gonna go get information from the spiritual because what spiritual realm are you tapped into? That's what I think. I'm a follower of the Lord. If you're not rocking with the Lord, I'm not gonna go to you to ask what you think for some spiritual advice. That's what I think. You know what I mean? And that's me. Everybody's different. I'm just not gonna do that though. But that's kind of what I think. Because the spiritual is something you don't play with. The spiritual realm is something you don't want to open that door. There's a spiritual doors you can open. You feel me? Stuff is not what you stuff people didn't play with them Ouija boards, opened up a door. People didn't people didn't messed around and try to do a curse on somebody. D- You feel me? The spiritual realm is not to be played with, you know. So yeah. All right. Sticker Man says we still have Prime, but free associates Prime now. Y'all got free associates Prime? Oh, okay, right. Because we all have free Prime. Um, when Amazon just did that. Okay, right. I totally forgot y'all had that too. We just had this talk. I didn't activate mine until last week. We were just talking about this in the office. Somebody was talking about. I was like, I haven't even activated. I've been paying for my Prime the last 3 months still. But yeah, All right. I respect the return policy. See, I'm telling you. Yeah, me too. Andre Bryant says NPR is a national public radio. Okay, got it. But now I don't remember what we said NPR about. But all right, for sure, for sure. Speaker Man says I'm full blue badge, learning ambassador. Oh yeah, that's right, that's right. Once I get my resume finished up and apply, that's what's up. Sticker Man said I'm not a Bezos fan, but his money keeps coming in. It's political. I ain't saying all that. Yeah, come on, fam. Amazon went from 2 to 4 days. I feel it. Double Down says because the sales during the first 2 days of Prime were down 40%. Oh, okay, okay. The bulk of sales were the final 2 days. Got you. Prime was spread out by categories over the 4 days. Didn't know that. That's what's up. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I did see somebody say, a few people say Amazon was down 40%, yada yada. But yeah, if they only base it off the 2 days. Well, I wonder what if it was only two. See, no, I think if it was only 2 days, that wouldn't have happened because people would have known it's only 2 days instead of the 4 days. So, nah, man. Like you said, the numbers you gave, that's an astronomical difference from last year. Oh, but that is two extra days though. Hold on though. What you say? You said that was let me go back up. You said like 15 million billion. Prime Week 25 billion in sales this year, 14 billion last year. Okay, well, is that really that great then? Because I think if it would have been great, it should have doubled last year because last year was 2 days. This year was 4 days. So last year was 14 billion off of 2 days, 25 billion off of 4 days. So 14 billion was 2 days. It really should have been 28 billion. And unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but right? I'm just saying, right? Well, I didn't even think of that. See, this is why I don't like looking at stuff because it's like, hold up. Yeah, 14 billion last year was 2 days though. We had 4. So it should have at least doubled since it was 4 days. That would have been 28 billion, but it was 25 billion. So was it really, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't want to look no more because all right, let me go back. Your aunt don't count and your uncle doesn't count. Water spidering field SB. Oh, you probably could. Nah, you can't. You can't. If we had a water spider contest, yo, I'll smash. I'm telling you, facts. And I ain't been in a warehouse in what 2-3 years. I'll still smash. Let's go. Let's go to GYR1, fam. Let's go to GYR1 and run it. I'm like, yo, let us run the floor for a shift. Let me show them up real quick. Double Down says Prime Week has grown every year. FCs have not grown at the same pace because FCs are getting more efficient in order to meet customer demands and prevent FC bottlenecks due to the growth 4-day Prime. That's what's up. The idea behind 4-day Prime is ramp up. Amazon knows what they're doing. I promise. Oh yeah, I believe you. I think they have some. I think they spend money in that area for sure. I don't mess with anything regarding spirituality. I hear that. Laugh out loud. It's cool, SB. You don't gotta answer if you weren't comfortable with it. I respect everyone's opinion. No, I'm very comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable. I just don't, like you said, that's why I said when you told me everything, I was like, hey, you da da da. But if anybody asked me my opinion, then I will speak on it because I'm gonna give you my opinion. You asked for it. But here's the thing: just don't get mad if it's not what you want to hear. Not just you, anybody. Because let's say, like I said, if I had a YouTuber that I liked and I asked him, hey, what you believe about this and this and this, and he wasn't talking about that, I can't get mad if what he says offends me in any type of way. He's like, yo, you asked, so nah, I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable, but I was just gonna leave it at because you didn't ask me like what you think, but then you specifically asked me what you think. So then that's why, I went ahead and went forth with it. Enzo says, and by the way, they are with God. It's nothing crazy. You can get the sense whether if that advisor has good intentions or not. All three of them have good intentions and they are with God. And I choose a specific advisor. I just where is this word advisor coming from? I've never heard of somebody call himself a spiritual advisor. I've never heard nobody call themselves that. Like, hey, I'm a spiritual advisor, except maybe YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, but in real life, you're a spiritual advisor. That's that's weird. I've never heard, and no offense. I don't want to say weird. That's new to me. Sorry. I don't want to offend nobody. That's not that's new to me. I've never heard of that term, a spiritual advisor. All right, my bad. And I choose a specific advisor, especially when I'm still learning. I believe people can have certain psychic abilities and see that word psychic. So that's why here's the thing, you gotta be careful. I'm gonna finish your thing first and then I'll go ahead and touch on it. I believe people can have certain psychic abilities and can help you steer you in the right direction. So far for me, it has worked for me in my life, turned to 180 degrees since 2024. The universe works in mysterious ways. Now, here's where you asked my opinion, so I'm going to be honest. You said, and by the way, they are with God. Which God? I, I'm just saying, this is what I would ask. I don't believe and it's not just I don't believe, everybody doesn't serve and believe in the same God. You know what I mean? So, um, when I hear words like psychics and stuff, that don't sound like the God that I serve, the God of the Bible that I believe in. You know what I mean? I don't know what they do and what the full story of that, but it's just even the other thing you said, spiritual advisors. Never heard of that before. I've heard of that term, but not in the space that I'm in, the faith space that I'm in, followers of the Lord. And then we cannot be naive to think everybody believes the same thing about God. Okay, well, who do if I'm going to spiritual, I wouldn't, but um, if somebody does go to spiritual advisor and they say they believe in God, that definitely shouldn't be a reason to put your guard down. Who is your God, sir? There's people who have their gods in their closets, and I'm not even laughing because it's true. Their God is in their closet, and they have an altar in front of it, candles, depending which one, could be some blood there and some. I'm just saying. This is the reality of it. Their God is in their closets. No offense, but it was funny because we were talking about this earlier. Anyways, you don't know who, you know what I mean? You never know what is their God. There's some people who literally their God is in their closet or under their bed. It's some altar that they have. You just never know. So just because somebody said they were God, now I'm really gonna be like, okay, which one? What I mean, it's God. Okay, which one? Which one, bruh? What's the dollar say? In God we trust. You think they talking about the God of not of the Bible? They not. They not. That's not who they talking about on the back of the dollar. You know what I mean? Nah. You think when all these rappers hop on stage and these people all want to give glory to God, they're not talking which. You feel me? I'll stop there though. All right. All right, Sticker Man, would you say next year we will have 6 day? Hey, if we got to do a 6 day prime to keep the work flowing in, run it. It's gonna be a month prime. It's gonna be prime month, peak season. Let's do it. I'm with it. Hey, I'm with it. If we got to do that to keep the work flowing in, let's run it. Sticker Man says water spidering. If Crush It, GRR1 or VEA8. Now I'm at come. We need you inspirational moment. Guts. I would pull up, man. Tell your people over there, all right, hey, SB want to come and let them run Water Spider. Let's go. Let's run it. Double Down says had the wildest CF lead on Tuesday, whose normal building was GYR1. GYR1. Shout out, yeah, the GYR1s. That's my one of my Arizona home building. Enzo says, "No, it don't matter. We don't have to agree on everything. We can still be cool. And at the end of the day, we both have different perspective." Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I like. You know what I mean? I love people who are mature enough to agree to disagree. I have people that's in my life. I disagree with certain things, and it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. You know what I mean? Um, but when you like I'm saying the spiritual ain't nothing to play with. The spiritual side's nothing to play with. So I'm not gonna lie though. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I know certain people that's tapped in on that side, there would that yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you, but there's I, you're not gonna be a part of my inner circle. You feel me? I'm not gonna open just because I know the ramifications of the spiritual realm. You know what I mean? So that for me, I wouldn't disrespect nobody or nothing like that. But I'm not gonna lie, that would be a reason that I would keep somebody at bay. You know what I mean? For me though, for me, I'm different. Everybody's different. But for that, who you dealing with on the spiritual side is definitely something for me to keep you at bay. I'm just saying. And we could talk about it though. We can talk about, "Hey man, why how come you always keep me so far?" "Well, do you really wanna know?" And then we can talk about it, but that's just me. I mean, I'm different. I'm different, Um, but let's say okay, hold on. This is important though. This is important for like the workplace. This is more my channel is like a workplace channel. In the workplace though, this is important. There's always going to be people who have different beliefs, and I've encountered you know what I mean? But you don't ever I've never showed bias. I've never been against somebody. None of that. You know what I mean? Because that's where we have to leave all your stuff at the door. Um, at least being biased. Now you can think whatever you want to think in the workplace about somebody, something, whatever, but it can't affect you know what I mean? You can't like so I didn't do that. I've never done that. In the workplace, you're forced to be around certain people, all types of people. So, but that's a level of leadership and a level of maturity where you can be a type. I've been around all types of people, every single type of person, you name it, I've been around them. And you would never know because there's some people, even leaders, quote unquote, they get around certain people and they act weird. And people can notice, oh, he doesn't like this. He doesn't like that. I was around everybody, couldn't tell nothing. You know what I mean? So just a level of maturity people got to be in that a lot of people don't have. But in the workplace, though, definitely got to be able to rock with everybody to get the job done. You know what I mean? Double Down says, just had one of my previous shift AMs that went to GR1 as a non inventory five. That's what's up. That's what's up. Sticker Man says, I gave what? Sticker Man, come on, fam. What? I'm not even gonna okay, let me turn that comment. Sticker Man, come on, fam. Sticker Man said, I want non-inventory. I want start as a L3. That's what's up. Andre says, I heard of a spiritual advisor from radio commercials. Right. Right. I've heard from radio. Well, I haven't, yeah, yeah, that's just yeah, that's what's up. XX, whoever that is, don't know who that is, fam. Got to get sleep. I have ET 10 hours tomorrow. Get you some rest, my dude. Good seeing you though, Sticker Man. Good seeing you, my dude. So you don't believe in psychics? Um, it's not that I don't believe them. I don't rock with them. Nah, I don't rock with them at all because um, where are they getting this information from? That's not humanly possible to tell somebody their future or tell somebody where this is. This person did this. So where are they getting where are they getting that information from? They're getting it from somewhere. I believe that's a familiar spirit. You feel me? I don't believe. Hold on. Let me finish reading your comment. So you don't believe in psychics? I'm really talking about psychics. I knew. I mean, when you said spiritual advisor, at least on in my sphere, my circle, of what I believe in, nobody's called a spiritual advisor. So I already knew by that term that was, you know what I mean? It was something different. Um, I'm really talking about psychics. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to think anyone to think I am crazy or you, whether they believe it or not. No, I'm not gonna think you're crazy, fam. I'm not gonna think you're crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you because you asked me. I don't think that's the best route because of my beliefs. You know what I mean? Do I look at you any different? No. You feel me? Am I gonna block you? Never. You feel me? No. Um, do I believe in psychics? No. But I know, you know what I mean? They are spiritual, and I do believe they're operating in the spirit. It's just not the way that I feel and what I believe is the right way to operate in the spirit. You know what I mean? They're getting information, but who are they getting it from? Is you know what I mean? I think that's the part that's I don't agree with that. So here's my thing. Do I believe in them? I believe they operate in the spiritual. Do I agree with them? I don't. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. I don't agree with them according to my beliefs and what I've seen. I don't agree with them, but that's not going to reflect on you. If you go and that's what you do, that's what you do. You asked me, I told you I don't agree with it. My beliefs don't agree with that, and that's that. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna be mad at you or what you say. Think you crazy? Nah, I'm not gonna think that. But I'll be very honest with you. I don't think that's the best route to go. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the best way to go when you got to remember we're dealing with the spiritual realm. That realm is more real than this realm. If you know, you know, and most people don't. That realm is more real than this realm, fam. So you got to be careful when you're dealing with the spiritual realm. You feel me? Um, and that, in my belief, is a violation. You know what I mean? So, and that's just you ask me, so that's just what I believe, you know. But I ain't got none but love for you, fam, and you know what I mean. Not gonna think you crazy at all. Trust me. There's people who do stuff that if you knew what they did, you would think they're crazy. That I know what they do, and I don't. You know what I mean? I don't treat people got some beliefs, fam. If you knew what certain people do to that spirit on that spiritual side, they cut. Can I say this on YouTube? They'll harm animals, use to chant things, to you feel me? In the name of spirituality, fam. It gets crazy. But I'm not calling them crazy. You know, I know people who did it and I didn't treat them any different. You know what I mean? As crazy as that sounds, I didn't treat them no different. You know, now am I letting them spend a night in my house? No. You feel me? Am I letting them? Hey, I got a word for you. No, you don't. No, you don't. And you know what I mean? Like they would know that, you know. But anyways, um, listen, there's people who have beliefs. You know what I mean? That's just their beliefs. That's how they rock out. But if I knowingly know somebody operating in the spiritual realm that a way I don't agree with, nah, I don't treat them different, but I limit my access. You feel me? Like I just have to, you know. But anyways, but nah, I mean, hey, that's a dope topic. You know what I mean? I think that's a dope topic. Me overall, I don't agree with it. I'm a follower of the Lord, so I don't agree with the psychics. I don't agree with necromancy. I don't agree with what else are we doing? Um all that. You know what I mean? I don't my access to the spiritual is through the Lord. Pray, fast. You know what I mean? So, and you get insight. That's how I operate. That's how I move, you know. All right, Sticker Man says my senior didn't know you. I know you told me that. That's good. That's good. Let's leave it that way. Let's leave it that way. NJ, what up, fam? What's good? What you was good? What you good to see you in a building, my guy. Good to see NJ in the building. That's another content creator right there. You feel me? Shout out to NJ. Enzo says they have helped me out, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I didn't have their help. There are certain psychics out there who really have the passion. I got one that actually works with me. All right, so now I kind of have that's you for sure. I and I okay, but would you say you have people to help you out? You wouldn't be there if you have their help. There's certain psychics out there who really have passion. They can have all the passion they want, but with my beliefs, you feel me? That's operating illegally in the spiritual realm. That's like, and I'm not okay. Take them out of it. What's that dude's name? what's the dude? The cult leader. These cult leaders have passion, all the passion in the world, but what they do isn't right. There's people who do things with just because somebody does something with passion doesn't mean it's right. You know what I mean? Um, I guess that's the only way I could say it. And now I got to say it again. You know what I mean? I don't agree with psychics. I don't. You know, in my beliefs, that's demonic. And only reason why I'm saying that now is because you kind of pushed it again, and you know what I mean. It's like you're endorsing it. I don't endorse that at all. Um, Not saying they're bad, evil. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying all that. All I'm saying it's the emphasis of the entering into the spiritual realm. They're getting information from the spiritual realm. I don't, but you know, I don't believe in just random spirits out here. There's angels, there's in God's spirit, and there's demonic spirits. There's not like free spirits out here that are neutral ground. You know what I mean? This is my beliefs. So if they're not getting it from the Lord, they're not getting it from the kingdom of light, they're getting that information from the kingdom of darkness. That's what I believe. That's why I believe psychics get their information. You can get accurate information from the kingdom of darkness. How? There's things called familiar spirits. You know what I mean? There's a real spiritual realm. The spiritual realm, I say the spiritual realm is more real in this more real than this realm. That's a fact. You'll be surprised how many sicknesses is due to a spiritual curse somebody put on somebody. You'll be surprised how people I hate to say it, certain there's people who have lost their minds due to spiritual activity. Listen, there's books out there. People, spiritual advisors, people who tap into the spiritual. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just leave it there. But the spiritual realm is very real. I don't rock with the psychics. I don't rock with um whatever else is out there that's not from the Lord. I don't rock with it. And I think that will bring in, I just don't rock with it. You know what I mean? But everybody has their what's that? Everybody has their free will to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? And they're gonna do that. You're gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trust in the Lord. I'm gonna trust in his word. And that's a violation of his word. That's illegal in his word. You know what I mean? That's a no-no. So that's not, you know what I mean? And he doesn't like that at all. That's a violation because it's like he says that he is the way. He is, you know what I mean? So if we're going to go to the spiritual realm, it's through him. You speak directly to the source, not to a person who's getting it from a random floating spirit. Like, you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? No, no disrespect, but um that's my opinion on it. Shout out to you though, Enzo. Still got love for you, fam. Sticker man says my new PA is hot. She gives me them puppy eyes, bruh. Come on, fam. Come on, my guy. Don't come on, man. You starting to sound like what's his name? I forgot his name now. He ain't been here so long. I forgot his name. I forgot. Come on, man. But stay in the game, fam. Don't give into the puppy eyes. All right. Pat the Gamer says, SB, I agree. No, I feel you. I feel you, fam. God, yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Angel says, since December 2024, that specific psychic has been helping me out a lot, and never pushed me for money. Most psychics push you for money and don't tell you the truth. Again, to me, that's a violation. I'm a follower of the Lord. The Lord said you don't mess with that. He didn't say that it was false. You feel me? Like you said, hold up. You said, what you say? You said most psychics push you for money and don't tell you the truth. You're saying yours is telling you the truth. That's even more scary. How are you telling me what's going on, sir? How are you telling me this? I'm telling you too. There's some that really operate, who's really about that life over there. Yeah, they're telling you the truth, but they're telling you the truth illegally. They're getting it from the dark side. That's my beliefs. That's my, you know what I mean? They'll tell you the truth, but it's coming from the kingdom of darkness because there's spirits out here. That's a fact. You know what I mean? So again, that's a violation when it comes to the word of God. I don't endorse it. I don't rock with it. You know what I mean? Because God doesn't. You said they follow God. That's why I said which one? Because the one of the Bible don't rock with that. You know what I mean? So that's where we, you know what I mean? That's why I was reading your comment, like, you said God and people will let their guards down. Oh, this person says they believe in spirituality and they said God. Let me let my guard down. Oh, no, 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 no. Which God? Because I know there's people who they have gods this big. They God be this big. First off, how much trust you? Your God is this big. Hold up. How much trust? People got little statue gods. No offense. But how much trust you and your God is this big? How much trust him? When you got to carry your God out of a flood. You got to carry your God. Sorry. But I'm just saying. Yo, I'll be clowning sometimes, y'all. But that's the truth. Anyways. There's nothing wrong with your perspective. But no, actually, in my belief, it is something wrong with that perspective. It's a violation of the word. I stand on the word. You know what I mean? Messing with psychics, messing with these Ouija boards, messing with these curse books, messing with these honey jars, blessing jars, people doing curses and trying to do stuff. There's little curses and stuff, and it sounds weird. If it sounds weird to you, good. You don't need to know about it. But to some people, they really do these things, and it's a lot of people to do it. They'll try to mix these things up, say a chant, throw it in the river, and they think they don't get money like that. They mix some stuff up, chant some stuff, and think they're gonna curse somebody. And that stuff does happen because the spiritual realm is real. But all that is a violation of the word of God. So I don't endorse it. I don't stand with it. I stand with Jesus alone. You feel me? That's where I stand. And he been helping me since 2008. You feel me? March 25th, 2008, gave my life to the Lord, not a second late. You feel me? That's a fact. NJ says week 3 in the books. Oh, week 3 in the books. I know, fam. I know. Valley Boy, I don't know who that is. I ain't never even talked to that guy. Intel says, I believe some people do have those abilities, some don't. The real ones, they don't push. That's just your perspective. Nah, yeah, I think, but what I just said, and I'm just reading down, I'm catching up. So, I said what I just said right now, responding to that. Andre says, never eat a woman you just met spaghetti. Fam. I don't eat people's food. I don't. Ask everybody in the office because they have potlucks all the time. I don't eat nothing. Because yeah, you right. People don't know. If you know, you know. If you don't, I hope you don't ever have to know. But it's real. People is weird. They do they be doing some nasty, crazy stuff, but it's a spiritual thing that they do. It has spiritual ramifications. I was surprised when I first started finding out what people do on this spirituality. You're disgusting. What are you doing? Like, how do you even think that's good when what you have to do is disgusting? How you feel what I'm saying? How can that be good when to get the results you have to do something disgusting? That don't make sense. How is what you're working with good, but you have, and for those who know what he's talking about with spaghetti, But yeah, anyways, shout out to you, Andre. That's crazy. HR Bill 1319. What's that, fam? I don't know what that is, my guy, but let me know. Pat the Gamer says, if you knew what grandparents did, but I didn't treat them any different, even though I didn't agree what they do. If you knew what grandparents did, but I didn't treat them any different. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Because I want to ask you, what they do, Pat. You know what I mean? But that's a touchy subject. You know what I mean? That's your grandparents. You ain't even gotta tell me nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to know. But there's a lot of people there, you know what I mean? But here's what's trippy to me. It used to be a lot of the grandparents who used to be on different spirituality and spiritual things that they did, but this is it's exploded with younger people. They're tapped in. They don't have the knowledge. I don't think they're aware of what they're doing and how they tripping, but they're doing these things. They're mixing this, chanting this to get something, and they're playing with the spiritual realm, and it's exploding. And one of the reasons why is because the times we in, people are desperate to get money, desperate for promotion, desperate to take somebody out. You know what I mean? Heart was hurt, so now they want to hurt somebody. But you know what I mean? This is a side of life that's not public. People don't really talk about it in the open with their friends. They don't talk about it. You know what I mean? But that's why you have these covens. You have, you know what I mean? That's stuff that's usually kept in secret, you know. But people be doing it, man. It's way out for sure, for sure. Icy says almost at 20 likes. Let's go. You know what I mean? If you ain't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You ain't hit that notification bell, hit that notification bell. Good looking, Icy. Sticker Man says, I agree with Pat. My grandparents did what my grandparents did is not me. I am me, and what I do in my lifetime, even we can change our course also as we grow as humans. I am not who I was 17, 25, 35. I've changed. That's what's up. Should change. That's good. Man, get up off my screen. Hurry up. All right. I see. Pat said, what up, though? Sticker Man says, we all grow as humans and become better in life as we age and get knowledge. That's not true. That's definitely not true. Some people get worse in life. Some people get older and get worse. Get older and get more evil. Get older and get more darker. Like that's not that ain't true. Everybody don't grow in life. That's not true. You got some people that's 39-year-old babies, 39-year-old toddlers. You feel me? Not everybody grows. You said God leads us and shows the proper way. Yeah, if you're submitted to him, if you're seeking him for sure. But if you're not everybody grows. Not everybody becomes better. But you know what I mean? I see I know where you're coming from. M. Bright says, I am very surprised that you know about the spirits out here. If you don't, fam, you think that's I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm very aware. Facts. This I don't talk about that. This is the Amazon. Hey, this is the work channel. What up? It's your boy. Yeah, it's me. On my faith channel, I'm literally talking about spiritual war, like war. And so, you know what I mean? I'm very aware. And I don't even talk about everything because here's the thing: there's people who do that stuff who's going to see this video. That's one of the reasons too. You don't want to make yourself a target. You know what I mean? That's one of the here when you are spiritual, you don't go around announcing you're spiritual. Real ones don't. You know what I mean? Real ones don't do that. That's why when people be, oh, you know, because there's some people who like that I've dealt with, you know what I mean? They're like Satanists or something, and they be like, oh, they boast in their little power. They say, I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the guy who's tapped in that don't tell nobody. You feel me? That's you know what I mean? But um, yeah, I'm aware, fam. And here's the thing: there's so many people nowadays who's involved in this stuff. There's a lot of people involved. A lot of it came from the TV. A lot of television shows push this stuff out. Think of all these movies that's out, pushes this stuff out. You know what I mean? That's why all these movies and stuff, all this stuff is on purpose. On purpose, they push these movies out to get people's interest in it so they can get more people tapped into that side. But yeah, I'm very aware of I'm very aware for sure. They're called devils and demonic spirits. Yeah, that's what I said. You know, I mean, now there's one devil, there's the evil one, there's him, but there's demonic spirits for sure, for sure. That's a fact. That's crazy. Perfect Gematria said it's a bill to reclassify employees as independent contractors that's getting voted in the warehouse. Is that a good thing or is that not a good thing? Is that I think that would be a bad thing, right? Since does that mean we have to take more responsibility of, you know what I mean, or not? Let me know. I don't know. Every time I think of an independent contractor, you got to do your own taxes. That's the first thing that pops in my mind. What else pops in my mind? Can't really think of too much right now, but let me know. That sounds like more responsibility on our hands than theirs. You know what I mean? Which that yeah, that kind of sucks. But let me know, how do you feel about that? Perfect gematria. My bad. I'm trying to change this setting real quick. Hold on. All right. Pat says they're no longer with us. This is my dad's side. They passed away like 6 years. Got you. Sorry, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Perfect Gematria says they tried to sneak it in right before going on a break, run it up. Oh wait, right going up to break. Hmm. They've done that a few times, sneaking some silly bills in. That's why I be saying we don't run this. You feel me? Like we don't. They've been doing a lot of things that they just want to do and pass it through that nobody voted for. You know. Run it up. Amazon send that check back to moving that Nike. Do you own Amazon stock? I do. I do own some stock from Amazon. Not because I bought in, all from promotions. Like that's a part of our promotion on the corporate side. And even L4s in the warehouse salary. When you get it, I don't know how theirs works, but like on my side, where's it at? Oh, each promotion that we get a base pay raise, and then we also get a pay stock. We get granted stock, and it has to vest. It's like, they usually put it, whether it's 6 months out, a year out, etc. And so that's how I have my stock. But yeah, I got a nice amount of stock. I'm excited. I got some finna cash out, finna vest in a minute. So I'm excited for that. I'm always happy when the stock cashes. Shout, who's that? Maurice or I don't know how to say that. My fault. Was that my bad, fam? I think my fault. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sticker Man says, night, guys. All right, Sticker Man, you have a good one, fam. You have a good one. Andre says, SB, you being from California, I know you met a few witches and warlocks. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a fact. I had a dude, he knew my stance. You know what I mean? And he was like, yo, what did he say? He was like, yo, I'll curse you, this and this. I said, man, my God is bigger than you. You feel me? But you don't listen. I don't fight. I'm not gonna sit here and fam. I'm not gonna sit here and argue. First off, no, you're not. You feel me? You're because they try to use fear. So he's saying all this stuff. I said, man, my God is bigger than anything you got, anything you try to send. You feel me? Hold that. And that's all I'm gonna say. And I knew that person, you know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying. I know people from all walks of life, but he was just being silly. But I don't play, you know what I mean? Through the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. He could have went and whipped something up and tried to send something at me. That don't, you feel me? It says no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Every tongue, you feel me? Every tongue that comes at me in judgment, God will condemn. I don't fight my battles. I'm not gonna sit here and argue somebody. Well, here's what I do. I'll pray and fast and play if you want. Play if you want. God don't play. God is real and he don't play. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's a reality. These things are real. A lot of people don't think they're real. Them things is real. Where you think the ideas of all these TV shows and all, where you think that comes from? That stuff is very real. There's covens, you know what I mean? That stuff is real, fam. And so yeah, I've come across them. But like I said, it depends on the terms that we meet. If we meet and they're at work and you can see, you can people wear certain things, charms, necklaces, certain tattoos, certain symbols. You can identify, okay, they with that. Noted. You know what I mean? I've come across that a lot in the workplace. All right, noted. you know, um, but that's that. You know what I mean? So yeah, in Cali came across that a lot. Everywhere you're gonna come across that everywhere. Everywhere you go, you're gonna come across that. It may not be as blatant and as loud as it would be in like a California. Even where you can feel it, Hollywood, my guy. Hollywood Boulevard, you can feel it. Not just a boulevard, it's like Hollywood. It's like a spiritual heaviness over there. Um, it's heavy. You feel me? So it's no, yeah, that stuff's real. It's real, fam. All right. Enzo says, well, SB, like I said, we can have a disagreement. I believe some psychics are in for the good and not for the bad. Most Christians believe that the psychics people are the devil. All right. So with the first thing you said, we can have a disagreement. Absolutely. We can definitely have an disagree. We can agree to disagree. That's perfectly fine. Next thing, what you're saying, I believe some psychics are in it for the good and not for the bad. Can that be true? That can possibly be true. There's times where people can have good intentions. Doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's right though. Like I said, there's people who have good intentions on doing certain things that could be wrong. You know what I mean? And then he said most Christians believe that psychics are people of the devil. That's not, there's a reason why they believe that, because that's what's in the word. You feel me? The word says that's not of the Lord. That's not of God. You feel me? That's what the reason why they believe that, because that's what the Bible says. And there's people who skeptic of the Bible. Hey, that's their, you know what I mean? They have that right. But that's why Christians and you never heard me call myself, I say a follower of the Lord, because nowadays Christians be all over the place, believing all type of stuff. But I believe what's written in it. So that's what the word says. You know what I mean? God is clear on that. He don't rock with it. He doesn't endorse it, and he tells us not to do that and not to engage with that. So that's why people that are followers of the Lord may have that thought towards that. You know what I mean? But yeah. Perfect Gematria says basically, yo, we 2 hours in. That went quick. Perfect Gematria says basically, if your employer changes you into independent contractor, no vacation, no health insurance, safety liability, no workers' comp, no federal mandated leave, and no unionizing. Well, I hope that you said that. I hope that didn't go through. You said it went through or what? Man, I guess we're going to see how that plays out. That will change everything if that's the case. That's crazy. That's deep. Hopefully not, man. That'll take away everything that I like about the company. Pat the Gamer says facts. Enzo says, based on my experience, in my opinion, I never had that experience, and like I said, they bring in good attention or intention. I think you mean intention, right? And just because I talk with psychics, don't label me that I'm with the devil. Listen, I can only state what you ask me. My belief is that what the word says. The word says, don't do that. That's what God said. I don't like that. I'm against that. And he says that's evil. That's what he said. He said that's of the devil. That's what he says. I would bring up the exact scripture right now, but my Bible is right here. You feel me? I can just read the scripture for you if you want to know exactly what he says. That's my type. You know what I mean? What is it? What he say? That's what I rock. I don't go on what the pastor says, what this person says. I'm the type. If I hear the pastor say something, okay, hold up. Where's that at? Where did he? Oh, okay, cool. All right, it's there. Wait. Where's that at? Oh well, that's my interpret. No. Well, I'm not. What did he say? What's the word say? That's just, you know what I mean? That's me. Not so I just say that to say when it comes to I'm not labeling you anything. The word and what God said, he says that's not of him. He says that is of the evil. That's what he says. If you want the scripture, I can give you the scripture. Let me know. That's my beliefs. You know what I mean? That's the you ask me. So I stand on what the Lord stands on. Pat says SBA 1. Okay. Perfect Gematria says basically it says if it passes, most employees in the US could be relabeled as independent contractor. That would be crazy. But you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised. I've said it's time, man. It's going to be a different country in this place by 2027. So I wouldn't be surprised. I hope not. That would be garbage. I really hope not, man, because it's like who that don't who that doesn't sound good at all. So I hope not, but we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. Enzo says, I do believe in God, but I'm not super religious. I'm not super religious either. I'm super spiritual. I'm super for God, but not super religious. You feel me? And then, oh, I would have to ask you the same question. You say you believe in God. I mean, that's what's up. Which God? Is it the God of the Bible? Is it the God, you know what I mean, of the universe? I guess that's a new thing now. It's like, oh, not only the God of the Bible, it's the God of the universe. You know what I mean? The reason why I have my stance is not because of me, is because I believe in God. I believe the God of the Bible and what he says. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not super religious, religious, going to church and those religious things, like things don't make you close to God. You know what I mean? It's your relationship with the Lord that makes you close to God. But so I'm not super religious either. I'm super spiritual though. You feel me? I'm super spiritual for sure, but not so much super religious. Pat the gamer says SVA 2 is struggling. I was told that if I were able to help and go up there to Virginia, okay, let's go. Look at you. Look at Pat getting recruited. Look at Pat on the recruitment list. You feel me? That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up, fam. Good stuff. You gonna do it? That's another trip right there, fam. When you start getting recruited, shout out to Big Pat. Valley Boy says, been a long minute since I tuned in. Former RPM. Right. What's good with you, my guy? What's good? I said the tooth fairy in relation to believing in another person telling you stuff that's far out. Hey, I respect your if that's everybody got their own belief, which they basically just as real as the tooth fairy is what I'm trying to say. Anyone know what's so crazy? And here's the reality of life. The same way you believe that is the same way that somebody believes the exact opposite. There's somebody that is going to take the goat of an take the life of an animal, drain it, put it on their altar, say some word, chant some words because they believe the exact opposite. There's that same way how you say this it's as real as a tooth fairy. People in your government, you feel me, have beliefs. They believe. You feel me? They believe. They don't think it's the people, them elite groups of this earth. They don't they don't think that way. They're completely on some other stuff spiritually. So, there's people who think like this, and you have every right, you know what I mean? But there's people that run in this world, they don't think it's that, they don't think it's funny, they don't think it's a game. You know what I mean? But to each his own. To each his own. We don't have to be glued into the Bible and follow every single thing that's in the Bible. I do. I do. And I have my times where I have a lot of times where I fall short for sure, for sure. That's why um, you know, I had to take my time off to readjust, but if you believe in the Bible, then yeah, you do. You feel me? But if you don't, then you don't. That's your thoughts. But you said we. Nah, I mean, there's no French. Who's we? Maybe you mean I don't know what you mean. I do. I do. You know what I mean? I have to be glued into the word and follow everything that's in it to the best of my abilities. Am I going to do it every single day, every single moment, every single time? No, no, absolutely not. But I try. I try. You know what I mean? If I fall, guess what? Brush myself off and try again. You know what I mean? The same way, how am I so motivated to try to do everything else, but not be motivated to follow his word? That don't even make sense for me. For me, you know what I mean? How do I have the mindset of I gotta get it? I gotta get it. Oh, I'm gonna grind until I get it. I have that for stuff, but I don't have that mindset for the Lord. That don't make sense for me though. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm far from perfect. I got a lot of people who can tell you that. But when it comes to that word, I do got to be glued into it and not out of duty. it's a blessing to me. It gives me peace. It gives me joy. It gives me freedom. You know what I mean? Um, but that's you feel me? That's two different people. So and I try to follow it. I live by it. And when I fall, just like the word says a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up. You know what I mean? So I try to follow every single thing in it, fam. Like I said, I don't succeed all the time, but I repent, I turn from it, and I pick up my cross and keep going. Andre says the current USA is based on evil. Andre, slow down, fam. They're not even ready. Andre, chill, Dre, chill, Dre, chill, fam. All right. And dang sure not believing everything you see online on TV. None of my belief comes from online, online or TV. Actually, I'll take that back. I have seen testimonies from that side of people who used to be into, whether they was in Santeria, hoodoo, voodoo, you feel me, all type of stuff. And there's people who don't do it no more, and they've said of things that they practice and the things that they do. I've seen that online, and it's interesting to watch. Like, oh dang, I didn't think that's deep. I didn't think people was really like doing that. They do though. Um, I believe them because they was doing it. You know what I mean? Um, but then you're right. You can't just go off one person. You gotta, you know what I mean? But when it comes to my beliefs, I don't get my beliefs from TV. I don't get my beliefs from online. And I don't get my beliefs from spiritual advisors. I get my beliefs from the source. You know what I mean? I get it from the word, not just the word. I go into prayer, not just prayer. I will fast. You feel me? So you're right. I don't get my beliefs from online, TV, nowhere else. I get it from the source, so I agree. We shouldn't believe everything online, TV, or, I feel you. I feel you. And Bright says, I'm from New Orleans. Oh my goodness. I even gotta read this comment. He said he's from the Mecca. He from the Mecca. He said, I'm from New Orleans. I don't even gotta read no more, fam. Say less, bro. Say less. That spiritual activity out there is hot. That's a hot pot for spiritual activity. New Orleans, play if you want. Oh, you don't believe, huh? Play if you want. New Orleans ain't no. Okay, let me read it. All right, I've seen it. I've seen all of it. Witches, warlocks, even things like vampires that you do not believe in roaming among us, fam. But there's always gonna be people that don't believe, though. You know what I mean? Um, hey, and everybody has their own right to what they believe. But there's people out here that's not playing, and there's people. And Bright, his first five words? Sum it up. He's from New Orleans. You don't know about New Orleans? Then you don't know. But if you know, you know. You know? you know? Um, yeah. But here's the thing though. Ain't nothing to fear. You feel me? Because if that was the case, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing to fear if you walking in with the Lord, though. No weapon formed against you will prosper if you walking in Him. And their power is not greater. The darkness ain't greater than the light. The kingdom of darkness is not greater than the kingdom of light. That's what Hollywood likes to portray. That's why they put all the movies out. Because what is the words? It says faith comes by what? Hearing. Faith doesn't come. We comes by hearing, not by sight. But they want you. They always project that. And don't you realize that all these movies they try to make it seem like that side is just so powerful. The Exorcism and all these movies who push that stuff. They'll have these crazy movies, all this demonic stuff. They'll have an old grandma praying, and then she loses her life. They're putting something in your mind. It's what I mean. Anyways, yeah, these things are real, but there's something. The Lord is greater. That's a fact. All right. Andre says, if you're an independent contractor, you also control your work hours and how much you make. That sounds good, but I'm sure they're gonna have like a limit. Come on, Amazon, Uncle Jeff, he is not gonna let people be out here balling like that. They're gonna put they're gonna be in a, they're gonna put a, there's gonna be some type of cap on that, fam. um, all right, where we at? Jay Weezy. Look at Jay Weezy over here looking fresh though. He said, "Hold on, let me show off the crop." He said, "Let me get a side view of the crop real quick." He said, "It's live night. It's live tonight, right? All right, bet. Let me update. Hold on. Pose like this. Update my profile." Jay Weezy too smooth with it. He says, I'm in late, but I'm here. I see we are in a demonic psychic talk." No, not demonic psychic talk. It's just somebody who was asking about where they got their spiritual advice from. And yeah, we kind of just went down that. Enzo says, "You just go based on your experience. You can call it not the right way. Listen, but okay, let me read the full thing and I'll hit each point. All you want according to the Bible, but still doesn't change the fact that people can still use psychic advisors to guide you. I didn't say they couldn't. That's the scary part. They can. That's the very point I'm making. They can. That's the thing that God was talking about. They can. The scary thing is where they're getting it from. That's the whole, you know what I mean? All right. So you just go based off your experience. I'm not going off my experience. I'm going off what the Lord said. My experience is out the window because there's a lot of things in the word, not a lot, but there's things in the word. You know what I mean? It's like, man, why did why did it have to say that? You know what I mean? Just being honest, like, man, what if that would have been okay? But the Lord said it ain't. So I'm with him. Forget my experience, forget my feelings, forget my thoughts. He says it for a reason. Same reason he told him not to bite the apple. He said, or the fruit. He didn't say apple, but he says, don't bite the fruit. He didn't tell him everything that's connected to it. If you bite that, this finna mess up everything. This is gonna go wrong. He didn't say that. I said, just don't do it. He didn't say the list of reasons of what was gonna happen after. So I just trust the Lord. If he says I don't want you doing this, I don't want you doing that, I bet. Yes, Lord. Period. For sure. And if I do slip up and I do fall on these things, Lord, forgive me. I repent. I turn from that. That's, what I mean? That's how I rock because that's how the word says to move. So, first line, I'm not basing this off my experience. I'm basing this off what he said. You know what I mean? You said you can call it not the right way. I didn't say that. He said that. Yes, according to that Bible that you're just kind of, quoting. Yeah, according to that, that's what he said. And then he says, but still doesn't change the fact that people still use a psychic. Well, let me finish. Still doesn't change the fact that people can still use psychic advisors to guide you. And you're absolutely right. That's the terrifying part because I'm aware that there's a kingdom of light and there's a kingdom of darkness. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that they, what I mean? They're not getting their information from God. So they're getting it from they're getting it from the kingdom of darkness in my faith. I'm aware of that. Yes, according to that Bible. You know what I mean? But that's the scary part because they are getting information. That's not ain't that that's not weird. That's not weird. Like if somebody tells you something true that nobody knows from the spiritual realm and it's true, if it was a lie, it'd be like, oh, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. But they tell you something true, that should be scary. Who's telling you that? Do they look into a ball? I know someone look into a ball or something. The ball's telling you that, my guy. Not you. I'm talking. You know what I mean? No, I just you know. Enzo, you're involving yourself. Nah, yeah, we've had that talk. Andre said, or Perfect Gematria says, Andre, if the bill passes, your employee can still tell you when to work and how to do the job, and they can still label you an independent contractor. That's too much. Yeah, different stream this week. Right. But that's the beautiful thing about the streams, y'all. Come on. Even though it is uncomfortable for people, not for me. You know what I mean? That's why I told them, hey, if you ask me, I'm gonna have to just tell you my belief. If you ask me, and you can't be mad at it. Because it's just you ask me, and that's anybody. I don't mind talking about anything. What y'all want to talk about? Dolphins? Y'all know talking to dolphins is illegal. We can't talk to dolphins out here in these streets. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with the government? Why can't we talk to dolphins? But if I watch the dolphin whisper and I want to go whisper to a dolphin, I can't do it. No, it's illegal. We want to talk about dolphins. We could talk about dolphins. We listen, but beware of this. If you ask me, I'm going to give you my truth, my opinion. Just like if I ask anybody for their opinion, I'm have to be prepared for what they think. Hence, why you think I've never asked nobody, hey, what you think about the Bible? I'm not going to ask nobody that because I don't really care what anybody thinks about it. I care what I think about it. But if I open that up to ask somebody, then I have to be prepared for what they feel because I asked, Hope that makes sense. But that's the beauty of the stream. We can talk about whatever on here. Y'all know me, man. We've hit what subject haven't we hit? Well, I'm sure there's subjects we haven't hit, but we've talked about anything over here. All I ask is we keep it respectful with each other. You feel me? I've never felt no type of way towards nobody. Even if they say something harsh, that's how you feel. But it got to be. I'm seeing all these rainbows. I mean, all right, we know what I mean. We just got to keep the mutual respect, and we should be good. All right. I asked you, and I appreciate your perspective, but I also have my own. And anyone don't like it, too effing bad. I believe in God, but I just don't go by what the Bible said. There you have it. You feel me? There you have it. That's what you stand on. You stand on what you stand on. I stand on what he stands. What's written in the Word. That's All right. Jay Weezy said, Enzo, there's a difference. Here, I'll let y'all go ahead and talk on that. Jay Weezy, right? You see Jay Weezy here trying to stunt though. Got the crop in the back hanging out. Oh well, hold on. This is hold on. Jay Weezy said there's a difference between a believer and a follower. Satan believes, and he was there from the beginning. That's deep. Icy, I had to change it up. Right, he had to come stunt in the chat though. Jay Weezy said, "Let me come correct tonight." You feel me? He said, He said, "Prime is." Oh, he's not with Amazon no more. But he said, "Let me come correct in the chat tonight. Show the crop." He said, "I know Icy's gonna be in there. Let me show the crop." Shout out to Jay Weezy, Icy. Y'all funny. All right. Don't get capitalism confused with spirituality. No, I'm not. I'm not. When you do information and you deep dive on the people that are into capitalism, you'll be surprised on what they believe, though. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm not confused at all. I'm very aware what capitalism is, very aware what spiritualism is. Here's where I think you're confused. There's a correlation of spirituality and capitalism that most people don't realize. You know what I mean? Well, obviously you don't, but you look into a lot of people who's killing it capitalism wise, and you look into you just you know what I mean, you just got to look into things sometimes. But nah, I'm not getting confused at all. Who's that? Maurice? Shout out to Maurice. Enzo says, well, like I said, I have my belief, and many people just like most of your people in the chat, subscribers agree with your belief or take. No, everybody don't believe on my belief, my spiritual belief, I'm sure. I've actually had, what I mean, like there's somebody I know doesn't agree with my take because his name, you know what I mean, was, anyway, there's people who's not going to agree, just like there's people who don't agree on my political beliefs. I'm not for either side. There's people who don't agree with that. It's just don't get your feelings hurt. Like I won't get my feelings hurt. That's all I say when it comes to everybody. Whenever we're talking about something, let's just be grown people who can control their emotions. That's all I ask for. We can touch on any topic, as long as we can all control our emotions, and that's cool. Pass it out. Never go to New Orleans. That's good. I would go just because it's a lot of culture down there, but it's like all that culture, low-key. You know what I mean? But but honestly, I probably wouldn't go. There's no reason for me to go. Why would I go? Honestly, Only thing I know them to have is like, what's that thing, Mardi Gras? I'm not gonna go to no Mardi Gras. Um, I know they got a street or a town out there. Oh, but that's you know what I mean? Nah, yeah, I don't really have a reason to go. Like I said, the only place I really wanted to go is New York, and that's because of what's that thing called again? Stamps. I forgot already. What's this place called? Do it say it on here? No, it don't. It's the place where I stayed. Well, I forgot where I stayed. Man, what's the main thing? Whatever it is, all the lights and all the things. I just wanted to see all the lights on that one street out there in New York. I totally forgot. What is it called? It's all right. But no, I hear you on that, Pat. Enzo says, anyways, nice talking to you, SB. I like a good debate and talk with people who can have different perspective without getting right. I love that. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually enjoy those. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy those because you can get somebody else's perspective. You know what I mean? Even though you may not agree, I'm fine with that. I've talked to in universities, I've talked to a gang of people who have opposing views to what I believe. Or to what I believe, and that's okay. And they've always tried to convince me otherwise. Never happened, but it's interesting. It's interesting on what people think and what they feel about it. You know what I mean? So, I'm the same way, man. As long as people can be grown and you feel me, adults about it, I'm with it. I saw it's cool if I have the time, because that's the thing too. You know me, I ain't got the time all the time to be having, debates and stuff. But all right, Pat the Gamer says this is why I don't like horror movies. Talk to him, Pat. Pat, talk to him. People think what is it? It's just entertainment. All right. All right. Play if you want. Nah, I don't mess with it. All right. Jay Weezy says there's a literal historical, geological, and scholar supported Jesus was real and was crucified. Even Richard Dawkins, the biggest atheist, admitted it. But even if he didn't, you feel me? Because even if he didn't, but good stuff. That's what's up. Jay Weezy. Shout out to Jay Weezy. That's what's up. Jay Weezy be on it too. Shout out to Jay Weezy. Icy Lambo says in the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God. John 1:1 with it though. Shout out to John 1:1. I love John 1:1. John 1 is dope. Actually, that whole chapter is dope. Shout out to Icy. SB, you already know I love the conspiracy edgy segment. I just try not to say triggering terms. No, I feel you, fam. I feel you. It's illegal to interact with dolphins in the United States, including talking to them under Marine Mammal Protection Act, MMPA. This law was in place to protect dolphins. This is a real thing. Y'all thought I was playing? Icy, did you think I was playing? That way you looked it up? Like, no way. It's illegal to talk to dolphins. Why is it illegal to talk to dolphins, y'all? That don't even make sense. It's illegal to talk to dolphins. Why? I'm not going to say why. Why I think why. But yes, that's a real thing. How in the world? Who voted for that? Who voted for that? I vote we can't talk to dolphins. Who voted for that? Why did the government put that law into place? Fam, we got homeless, we got trafficking, and you make a law about not talking to dolphins? That's crazy. That's nasty work. All right. From human interference, which can disrupt their natural behaviors and put them at risk. Right. Right. Okay. That's deep. All right. The spiritual people may believe seeking freedom is a form of greed or evil, and it's not the same as corporations creating major wealth divide. Working for success isn't bad, but corporations working people to death is evil. So I mean that sounds kind of related. You feel me? All right, let me see though. What's the realistic path for a driver to apply for a better position within a company besides warehouse level, as in moving into management or operations? What's the best route, or what would I recommend? So, realistic path for a driver to apply for a better position within the company besides warehouse level. The only way I can think of, and you would need low key. your bachelor's to get into management on the operation side. 2 years in the warehouse or your bachelor's. So there is no other way unless you have your bachelor's. You're gonna have to start at the bottom from the warehouse. If you don't have your bachelor's, work your way up after 2 years, then you can apply for you start to shoot your shot for those salary roles and to start climbing that ladder. That's for operations. Not really sure on the Tom team side how that works over there. And I never looked into it because it didn't seem like the ladder was too high over there. So I never paid attention. My main goal was how high up the highest ladder. You feel me? I was always focused on that. Um, so yeah, I think you would have to start at the bottom level if you don't have your bachelor's. All right, Jay Weed says, you hear about Ozzy and Hulk's death? They say Ozzy and Hulk both got saved before their death. Hulk Hogan has video proof, but not Ozzy. Because he got baptized, because he got dipped in the water, he's born again. I don't. I hope so. Hey, I hope so. You feel me? I didn't rock with the. I mean, I'm sure you know. I don't rock with the Hulk. You feel me? He had his thoughts. He had a hateful heart. Hopefully, But come on. We know the Lord, fam. You gonna, what I mean? I don't know. I don't have a heaven to put nobody in. I ain't got a hell to put nobody in. But I know what the word says, you know what I mean? And I don't know. Sad. Even if somebody had a hateful heart, I would still never wish death upon them. You know what I mean? So it's still sad either way. You know what I mean? But is it sad? I mean, of course it's sad, but what I mean is it's a reality. People forget we gonna leave this earth. Everybody. It's death. You feel me? So hopefully people, is right when they die, but did I hear about them? I heard it's life, fam. You feel me? It's life. Um, just hope he was right. I seen it. I seen the other side too. I didn't know he supposedly got baptized and all this stuff. You know what I mean? That's like, hey, you feel me? Hope I'm not the Lord, so I don't know. But the word says we can all be saved. I was just being skeptic. His name was the Prince of Darkness. No, it does say that fact, but this is one of the most misquoted things people say. God knows my heart. And it's usually to justify something, right? But that's the terrifying truth. He knows our heart. He knows if you just sat, you got dunked in that water just because you finna die. He knows that. And he knows if it was genuine. He knows that. I don't know that. So that's why I can't judge. You know what I mean? Yeah, he does say all can be saved. That's a fact. But God is no fool. You feel me? And he knows there's people that's not genuine. That's in the word. There's plenty of examples where there's people who got baptized and they wasn't genuine. That's in the book of Acts. Plenty is there. He himself said, many will say, Lord, Lord, and he'll say, depart from me. I never knew you. It's there. You know what I mean? So what that, what I mean? That don't move me. Um, but I'm not God, so that's why I don't even try. I don't have a heaven or hell to put nobody in, you know. I hope it was genuine. I hope he was right. Um, and I don't know. But here's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna put him in heaven. I can't. I don't know the man's heart. I'm not gonna put him in hell. I don't know the man's heart. You feel me? So I don't know. And we're all gonna, yeah, I've seen it. Low key, when I've seen it, no, I scrolled past it. Because at first I didn't even think it was real. Like, that's weird. So I'm like, well, okay, whatever. But then I start seeing it all over the place. And then I start seeing everybody trying to put him in heaven. Chill. Chill. Just like if anybody trying to put him in, nah, chill. No, we don't know that. You feel me? And we're, like, we just don't know that. And I didn't put no shout out to him because he did not like black people. And if you can't have that hate in your heart, the word says that. He said, if you say you know God, but you hate your brother, you're a liar and you don't know God. That's what God said, fam. That's what he said. So if you have hate in your heart for somebody just because the color of their skin, So hopefully it was genuine. Was it? I don't know. I can't judge the man. But I'm not putting them here. I ain't putting them up there. I ain't putting them down there. We gonna have to find out, you know. But with Ozzy, you said he got baptized. Not, I'm not okay. Let me not. This is serious. Sorry. That's just so crazy. Only thing I remember him is biting off a bat's head, and oh, you know what I mean. Listen, the most people say this thing so much. I just said it. God knows my heart. God knows he does. He knows if you fronting too. He knows if you're lying. He knows if you're trying to do something because you know what I mean? I don't know. Hope it was genuine. What took what you know what I mean? Like I don't know, fam. But that's not my focus. I don't know where like I said, I seen it and it is what it is. They're gone now. I wish they could have lived a full life, living in truth. You feel me? I wish they would have lived a life showing a changed heart. You know what I mean? Especially towards my people. How you gonna have that much hate towards like man? That would have been dope to see that be redeemed in the public light. You know what I mean? That hate come out of his heart. That would have been dope to see, but we didn't. But I don't know. But what do I think? I think people should prepare their hearts. You feel me? I got off the internet from a paid YouTube page because I got I need to get my walk back right with the Lord. That's why I just stopped uploading on this channel. And I said that plenty of times. You know what I mean? During that time when I was going through that. Why? Because you know what I mean? There's everybody going to step into eternity. It's a fact. So, and you said his name was a Prince of Darkness. Yeah, I know. The things look into their life, fam. I looked in. Look. Let me show you what I was watching. I was watching this right before I hopped on the live. Let me show you. Ozzy Osbourne, fam. It says I'm just gonna say what it says. Oh, it don't show it on the screen. It says Ozzy Osbourne, and if you want to look this video up, you can look it up. Ozzy Osbourne and the black figure he sold his soul to. And in this video, it's basically showing these old interview clips of him talking about, you know what I mean, these demonic books he had, and that was written in Latin, and um like the tie to Antoine LaVey and all this stuff. And if you know those names, I'm not gonna explain who these people are, but now let me go back to my screensaver. Where is it at? I was just looking into that low key because I want, anyways. Yeah. All right. Enjoyed tonight's topics. Right. It was different. It was cool. You feel me? It was cool. Was definitely different from our usual Amazon chats. That's a fact. Patty Gamer said this is true. Matthew 7:21-22. That's spooky. There's some spooky words. Imagine having to hear that. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Jay Weech says, I don't know if Ozzy was baptized, but right. I don't know how true that is. I'm glad you said that because in that video I was just watching, like somebody, a lot of people didn't say that. I don't know how true that is either. I don't think that's true. Come on. It could be. I don't know, but I didn't see no pictures of him of any of that floating around. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, who am I to judge? I can't judge nobody. I'm imperfect. How can I judge? I can't judge nobody. But what's that saying? I can't remember right now. All right, but say Hulk Hogan has pictures helping baptize and got baptized. Pictures is cool. Getting baptized, that's for sure. That's dope. I just hope it's genuine. And only the Lord knows that. You know what I mean? I don't know no man's heart. Never claimed to. But hopefully we see him on the other side. Hopefully. Even through all the hate he spewed toward people who look like me, to my people, you know what I mean? I hope he did get right. But we'll leave it at that, man. What a way. We never end the live on that topic. You feel me? But we 2 hours and 44 minutes in. I wanted to cut it earlier, but I didn't want to cut it where we was at. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see. I don't know how long he lived with that crazy lifestyle. You don't? You don't? You don't know? You don't know? You don't know? I'm not even going to talk about it. People even try to say I'm not even going to read that. But you don't know? You don't know how he lived that long with that crazy lifestyle? There's a way. Oh, there's a way. There's a way. I'm not going to say it though. And we'll end it off like that. We'll end it off like that. Icy said, good night, everyone. Make sure you subscribe. Have a pleasant night. Fantastic Friday. Yes, if y'all ain't hit that like button, hit that like button. You ain't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And if you hit that notification bell, hit that notification bell. Hope y'all all have a, hold on. Let me, I'm gonna do that. Hope everybody had a dope night tonight, man. We're going to be here next Thursday. We went 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's a long time. Well, we've done it a lot, but not recently. But that was a good night tonight, man. If you guys didn't see it, go ahead and scroll it, run it back. You can see it from the beginning. It was we touched on a lot of topics. Deuces, hey, you feel me? Pat the Gamer says, see you, SB, see you, Pat, see you. Everybody who tuned in, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Everybody who gave the super chat, man, that was a super blessing. Thank you guys so much. 1 in the morning over there, icy. Get you some sleep so you can be up in the morning. All right, y'all. It's your boy SB. Let's go. Y'all be safe out there, man. Y'all have a blessed one. I'm gonna catch you.